Lead Heads. We are back with another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. This is episode 256. Hope you guys caught last week's episode where we had J-Mac with Right On Optics, giving you guys a schooling on the parts and components that go into making up a scope, a rifle scope in particular. We're going to be continuing that series with Right On, getting into different aspects of scooting guns, shooting your optics. J-Mac's got several things in line for you guys coming up, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you haven't caught it yet, the Talking Lead AK Corner has been a huge success so far, part 1. And by the way, if you've not heard, we're giving away 12 rifles during that 12-part series over the next, be 11 months now, so we've already done our first episode. So make sure you check into the second part of the AK Corner where we're going to give away 2 guns, 2 rifles on that episode. So 256, you guys, I think I mentioned it last episode, we're headed to Boston, going up to a memorial ceremony for a member of the FLEOA organization. Joining me today, I have none other than Bill Hampstead, a.k.a. Bill Doe. Welcome in, Bill.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And Bill has brought along a friend of his, which you're going to hear more in later parts of the episode from, but introduce your friend.
This is Veteran Johnson, better known as Goody Johnson.
Goody, welcome
Hello.
in.
Thank you.
A newbie to the show, and like all our new guests, you were no exception. You got hit with the new guy questions while we were in Boston. So
Yes, hitting the hot seat.
you got the hot seat. You didn't really catch on how to play the game at first.
No. Sorry.
I don't think you even caught on when we finished it, but we'll give you a redo on that on another episode. But introduce yourself, Goody, to the listeners.
Well, I am a retired Connecticut State Trooper. While I was a trooper, I was assigned to the Special Licensing and Firearms Unit, where I did pistol permits, assault weapons questions, gun trafficking, gun tracing. And after retirement, I was selected to be the first female to sit on the board of firearms permit examiners, to which I still sit.
You've been sitting a long time. You better stand up and stretch those legs.
5 years of sitting, yeah, I need a stretch.
No doubt. So welcome in, Goody. It's a pleasure to have you on, and it was great meeting you this past week and hanging out with you, getting to know you and the other members of FLEOA that I hadn't met yet. Some new guys. Tim
Dennehy.
Tim Dennehy, yeah. Tim Dennehy. I kept calling him Brian Dennehy from Rambo.
Yeah, a past president of FLEOA.
The past president of FLEOA. So we had the great honor of attending a memorial service for Chris Schoppmeyer, and it was awesome. We got to go to Cincinnati. Fuck, where am I at? A Boston Red Sox. How many Reds are there? The Boston Red Sox game and a awesome park dedication, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the show. So before we get into that, guys, I hear the Jackwagon Train rolling in. So we got to take care of a boatload of Jackwagons this week. Gunny, bring that train in.
Hoorah, simplified, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
So the train has stationed, and I'm going to kick this off because I've got a lot of Jackwagons that you lead heads have submitted, and I think we should start off with the most nominated. I've got this nomination from several of you lead heads, and it's none other than the country music singer Eric Church. You guys familiar with Eric Church?
Yeah.
A little bit?
No.
A little bit.
Apparently he's got a few hit songs in the country music arena. But I think he was at that shooting in Las Vegas, and he made a statement. Rolling Stone did an interview with him, and I'm going to read this. And this was from Leadhead, Ashley and Alex K. So thank you guys, and I'm going to read their little note they sent to me. It said, well, here's another jackwagon operator, and they're not operators, they're just passengers. The Gunny operates the train and keeps these guys under control, so just so we get that cleared up. It says, until now, Eric Church has been my number one and only favorite country music singer. I just don't get why these Hollywood retards feel their need to get political and point fingers at the NRA for gun violence. Is this man so stupid to say this sort of thing and expect to still have fans? It looks as if this man just got a large shit in his whiskey glass, and I really don't think he will like the taste of it. P.S. Where does the guitar riff for the intro come from? I crank it up every episode, gets me in the mood for another great show every time. So our bumper music, intro music, comes from a band called Defi, and I think they're out of like Sweden or Switzerland or something like that. But when we first started this show, we actually contacted them, let them know what we did, and say, hey, would it be cool if we used that? So we did get their permission to use that as our intro music. And I can't tell you the name of it. I apologize. I don't know the name of that particular, I guess it's a song is what you, there's apps that you can like say, hey Siri, what is this song? And she'll tell you what it is. You guys ever use those apps?
Shazam will do it too. Yeah, Shazam will do it.
Okay. So there's another app called Shazam. So Ashley and Alex K, get that app and just play that, or let your app listen to it, and it should tell you which tune that it is. That what's the name of that band I just said?
Defy.
No, it's not Defy. That's our watch sponsor.
Yeah, I know, but that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Did I say
Two
Defy?
witnesses. Sorry.
Okay. So strike that. It's not Defy. They are called I'm having a brain fart.
Wow, that's a hard band name to sell. I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, the marketing must be hell.
Well, it's the people who do our outro music, Load Your Guns. They're called the Goddamn Gallows.
Ah, well.
That's the name.
That plays better.
I know that name. Hold on, I'll find it. Any other time it just rolled off my fucking tongue.
But not tonight.
No.
Until today.
They are called Despite.
There we go.
Okay. Can you see my confusion? Okay.
Absolutely.
So the people who do our opening bumper is Despite.
You suck.
I'll edit all that out.
Boo! You're human. Be human.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of other great music too. If you're into that kind of head banging, screaming kind of music, which I am, so you'll enjoy that. So back onto our jackwagon. Eric Church blames the NRA and gun lobbyists for Las Vegas mass shooting. This again was the interview that he did with Rolling Stone magazine, and here's the article somewhere. So it says, Eric Church fans have some strong feelings about the country singer's recent comments about the NRA. On Thursday, Church, who considers himself a Second Amendment guy, blamed the NRA and gun lobbyists for being a roadblock to gun safety in a new interview with Rolling Stone. This is a quote, "There are some things we can't stop," the 41-year-old told Rolling Stone, like the disgruntled kid who takes his dad's shotgun and walks into a high school, but we could have stopped the guy in Vegas. Really? How, Eric? He broke all the laws already. He added, I blame the lobbyist, and the biggest in the gun world is the NRA. The artist was one of the headlining acts of the Route 91 Festival in Las Vegas when a crazed gunman opened fire at the crowd of festival goers while Church's fellow country star Jason Aldean was performing. At least 59 lives were lost during the shooting, which is now known as the biggest mass shooting. It's not a mass shooting, it's a mass murder. Let's get that straight, too. It's a mass murder.
Agreed.
In modern U.S. history. But a lot of Church's fans criticized the singer for his comments against the NRA. And there's a bunch of tweets here, so you guys can go to, this is on Fox News. One comment, I'm done with at Eric Church. I was a huge fan. Good riddance, bud. You just lost 90% of your fan base. And then he gets lots and lots of comments like that, and they're showing them to you here. I haven't read the entire article, and again, I would probably need to read that before I made a complete comment on this. But from what I've heard and what I've seen so far, pretty much he's Jackwagon Train material, definitely.
Well, Church acknowledges that he's going to get blowback, and he says, I don't care. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. I don't understand why we have to fear a group like the NRA. It's asinine.
But see, what people don't understand is that the NRA is us.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like the NRA is a separate entity that doesn't represent anyone. They have no backing. They have no other people that follow, or not follow them, but are members of the NRA. Like that one guy said, 90% of your followers or fans are, if not the NRA, then another similar organization. Now, I mean, we all know the NRA's not made the best of decisions lately. So, they've made the Jackwagon Train a couple of times themselves. But yeah, another quote, as a gun guy, the number of rounds the shooter fired was unfucking believable to me. Church said, I saw a video on YouTube from the police officer's vest cam, and it sounded like an army was up there. I don't think our forefathers ever thought the right to bear arms was that. Well, yeah, but not to shoot innocent people. That's not what the Second Amendment is about. This guy broke laws. He broke just about every single law there was that's in place. And what do we do with that? Well, you try them, and you convict them, and you punish them. And in his case, death is not good enough.
Church goes on in that Rolling Stone article, said, why can't we come together and solve this one part? Start with bump stocks at gun shows. Shut a couple of these down. I don't think it will matter a bit. I think it will save some lives.
Yeah.
And if you've watched enough YouTube videos with or without bump stocks, it's inertia, and you can handle a rifle and replicate it with or without a bump stock.
Yeah, you can do it with your belt loop. The bump stock is it's another tangible object that the gun grabbers can point at and use as an example to ban every gun. Because if you look at the legislation,
like mine, jump right on it to outlaw it.
Yeah, and if you look at the legislation that's in place, it's not to ban bump stocks, it's to ban any device that increases the rate of fire. Bump stock is not mentioned in that whatsoever. It's any device that increases the rate of fire.
Enhanced rate of fire, yep.
Yeah, so that could be your bolt, that could be your gas system, that could be your ammunition that you're using. It's your finger. I've brought this up before. If you look at, a shooter like Jerry Miculek, who's ungodly fast shooting, were they going to outlaw him?
Or minus trigger. Something that simple as a minus trigger.
Yeah, exactly. So the ultimate goal for them is to get rid of all semi-automatic guns to start off with, and then all guns is the ultimate end game. If you look at Europe, Europe's got that huge ban on guns. Well, what are they going after now? They're going after knives now.
Yeah.
We're going to hear about that in the interview that we got coming up that I was telling you guys about that we did in Massachusetts. We've got Brian Montgomery with Benchmade Knives. It's got a great interview with him, and we talk a little bit about that. So we'll get into that in that interview. But yeah, Eric Church, definitely Jackwagon Train. And thanks to all you lead heads. I know Troy S. I know the Kellums. There were several other you guys that had put Eric Church on it too. I think Jerry Black also. So thank you guys for that nomination. Well deserving. So let's move on to it because we got a big one, big jackwagon train. So this one was sent in by I think the Kellum sent this one too. Let me see. Yeah, the Kellum sent this one too. So this is a cop distracted by phone hits a cyclist head on. And I guess it was like a YouTube video post that went viral and it made the news. But just to sum it up, so this guy's out riding his bike. He's got a helmet cam on. He comes to a stop sign, and it's a, what do you call it, where you just got a T stop?
T intersection.
A T intersection. So you got him coming to this T intersection, and then he's got traffic coming left and to the right. So he's looking left, he's looking right. This cop's coming in from the right, and you see him just plow right into the cyclist. And apparently he was looking at his phone. He swears up and down he wasn't texting, but he was looking at his phone. And the cop didn't deny it or try to cover it up or anything. But I think he was trying to. It's like, hey guy, you're overreacting here a little bit, which the guy was. I gotta admit, he would make it great in the NFL, for penalties. But definitely the cop is going on the jackwagon train. He should have been paying attention, setting the example kind of thing. But this guy was a drama queen, I tell you. The cyclist was a drama queen. He's going on the jackwagon train, too. I guarantee you he's just looking for a payday. And, I hope he gets shut down. But if he was hurt, I feel sorry for him because, he didn't ask for that. He didn't deserve it. But at the same time, man up a little bit. Come on.
Agreed.
Yep.
All right. So that's 2 down. Do you guys have any jackwagons that you want to interject with here? Because I've got a couple more here. I'm on a roll.
Well, do we want to get into the state of Massachusetts for a second, or are we going to go to that later?
I think that's fitting since we were just there. We were all just there. We were having dinner. Was it dinner or lunch one day?
Lunch
at Dylan's.
Yeah, lunch at Dylan's, and we were there for a while, and I never even noticed this huge freaking banner that was across on a new construction building, parking lot or something they had across the street. Lot. Yeah, and then Goody says, "Well, what do you think about that?"
Well, I could see over your shoulder, and all I can see is we're not anti. And I lean my head a little bit further, and I see gun. Well, coming from where I come from and the background I have, I go to the window to see it, and I see the whole thing. Yeah. And I was like, guys, look.
Yeah, drop our drinks, turn around. Holy crap. Really? Are we seeing what we're seeing right now?
So they've got this huge banner on this. It's a parking lot. And I posted a picture on social media. You guys could go check it out. It says, "We're not anti-gun." And then there's a big space, and it's hard to see this because the background is black. And then what they've got in between this and "We're for life" is what the shocking part is. And it says, "Massachusetts gun laws save lives." So in between "We're not anti-gun" and "We're for life," there is an AR-15 sticking straight up with the barrel. And in the barrel, there is a white flag for "Surrender your guns."
For the subliminal message, for those who didn't pick up on it, it's supposed to be a subliminal message, but I can't think of a more in-your-face message than that.
Yeah. So, that genius on their part.
Absolutely. I'll give it to them.
Yeah. Because when I first read that, I didn't even see that. You had to.
No, look.
You're like, no, look closer. I'm like, yeah, I see it. We're not anti-gun. We're for life. It's Massachusetts gun life saves life. And you're like, no. And I went out, and we went outside. It took the glare, I guess, and I saw. I was like, oh my God.
What?
Yeah. Surrender your guns. So yeah. Yep. Jackwagons, Massachusetts. And then you guys had a lot of comments. Keith D., sad that this is Boston, the birthplace of the revolution when the redcoats tried to confiscate firearms from colonists. George B., gun laws or any laws are only there to punish after the fact. True.
Agreed.
Number one, Chuck, I guess the white flag there is appropriate. It definitely sends a message, no doubt. And then Edward RB says, nuts, exclamation point. General Anthony McCullough? Do anybody know who General Anthony McCullough is? Is he a current general or was he a Revolutionary War general? Let's see. I'll Google him. Band of Brothers. Okay.
TV.
So General Anthony Clement Nuts McCullough was a senior United States Army officer who earned fame as the acting commander of the U.S. 101st Airborne Division troops defending Bastogne, Belgium, during the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. Nuts. Who played him? I can't remember.
I can't remember the last time I watched Band of Brothers.
Wow, it's been a long time here.
Great series. Anyway, I think I get what he's saying there. And let's see, is there any more comments on there? There's some more comments, but you guys can go look at that post. Just some things that our brothers up in that neck of the woods are struggling with, so we got to give them our support.
Yeah, between Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York, yeah, that's the triad of gun trouble.
And then, of course, there's always Michigan as well. Poor Bill. Bill's from Michigan. So the Michigan Supreme Court rules schools can ban guns. Lansing, Michigan. Schools can ban guns on their property, the state Supreme Court ruled Friday, upholding policies that Ann Arbor and CLIO districts, how do you say that, Bill? CLIO districts have defended as common sense safety measures designed to prevent disruptions. In a split decision, majority justices said that while the Michigan legislature has the authority to preempt school districts from adopting gun bans, it has not done so here. Justice Bridget McCormick, a Democratic-nominated jurist and lead author on the majority opinion, called the closely watched Ann Arbor and Clio cases straightforward. The legislature has expressly restricted some, but not all, local governments from regulating firearms. Schools in particular are not on the preempted list, quite possibly for reasons not difficult to imagine. Cormack added, of course, the legislature in its wisdom sees fit to allow open firearms on all school grounds, no matter what local school districts may variously decide. It can say no. And then it goes on. So that's something that you lead heads need to be aware of, what's going on there in Michigan. And this came from Detroit News. And this story came from one of you lead heads that I cannot find now. But thank you for sending that in.
But that's only unless you are a active LEO or state, local, federal, or a retired LEO. We were able to, the Michigan chapter of FLEOA was able to pass a law a few years ago, SB 53, that allowed retired federal law enforcement officers open carry, concealed carry in pistol-free zones. Oh, sorry. SB 53 allows retired federal law enforcement officers the same rights as retired or active state and local LEOs. That law allows retired federal law enforcement officers the rights to carry pistols in pistol-free zones like pistols.
So that's only for federal. That doesn't go like for HR 218, which I forgot was renamed.
No.
HR 2. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Han. In addition to that, it gives we got that law passed a few years ago, and just because federal law enforcement was left out of that
HR 218.
No, it was a local Michigan rule law. And we were able to get a change to allow federal law enforcement officers to carry in pistol-free zones, which would include those schools.
But that's just law enforcement officers. That's not your regular concealed carry person.
Right. Regular concealed carry people, it doesn't cover them. But.
Yeah, so Michigan Supreme Court, welcome to the Jackwagon Train. And Matt Matter was the lead head that sent that in. So thank you, Matt. We appreciate that. Austin, Texas. We got to throw Austin, Texas on here. This is from Troy S. And so what's going on in Austin, you say? Well, Austin is pretty much turning into the West Coast. They've got a lot of liberals moving into that area.
If you have any friends in Texas, they call it the People's Republic of Austin.
Exactly. So
Well, we've not heard that from Nick yet.
Oh, well, he's outside of Austin. So Nick enjoys his gun rights immensely, trust me.
Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah. So do you want to read this one, Goody? The city report on Confederate monuments raises idea of renaming Austin.
Let's see. Known as both the father of Texas and the namesake of state's capital, Stephen F. Austin carved out early outlines of Texas among his many accomplishments. He also opposed any attempt by Mexico to ban slavery in the province of Tejas, and said if slaves were freed that they would turn into vagabonds and nuisance and a menace. For that reason, the city of Austin's Equity Office suggested renaming the city in a report without existing Confederate monuments that was published this week. Also on the list locates to possibly be renamed Pease Park, the Bolden Creek neighborhood, Barton Springs, and 10 streets named for William Barton, the Daniel Boone of Texas, who was a slave owner. To be sure, the identified streets and parks are only suggested for reconsideration, and the city, Bolden Creek, Pease Park, and Barton-related landmarks, a group that includes Barton Springs, were included in a lower tier list of assets for secondary review in the report. Still, the report did identify several streets staff consider related to the Confederacy and worthy of more immediate action. These streets are Littlefield Street, Tom Green Street, Sneed Cove, Reagan Hill Drive, Dixie Drive, Confederate Ave, Plantation Road. The city estimates that it would cost $5,956 to rename these 7 streets.
You know what I want to know? I want to know how much it cost them to do this study.
Yes.
And background to find out the what these streets were and who they were named after, which at this point in time, I guarantee you, nobody and their great-great-grandmother could tell you who Littlefield was, who Tom Green is, who Sneed Cove was named after, who any of these.
Everybody's going to say Tom Green is a Canadian comedian. And
who lost his left nut. Yeah, exactly. And Reagan Hill Drive, named after President Reagan. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So, I mean, this is completely ridiculous. Renaming Austin, that's not going to happen. You think they're going to rename the city of Austin?
No.
I think most Texans would have an issue with that one.
Well, you would think, but apparently they've spent a shit ton of money on this, and they're concerned that another $6,000 to change the name is going to be an issue. I guarantee you they spent at least $250,000 at least doing the research on this.
Well, I mean, changing Austin would require a heck of a lot more than the 7 streets. I mean, that's
you got universities, you got airports, you got all kinds. It's just ridiculousness. The lengths that these people are going to dig through history and try to erase our history. Oh my gosh!
It's not our highlight of history, but it's history nonetheless.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's where we started. It's where we came from. You know, good, bad, or ugly, like you said. It's you learn from it, and
absolutely,
going
we're doomed
back
to
and
repeat it.
punishing these people now, it does no good. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna take your name away because you had slaves back in the 1800s.
Yeah, I mean,
they weren't named. These people weren't named. Didn't have these streets and these cities named after them because they had slaves. It's because they did other great things for the areas, the cities, our country. So look that stuff up, and let's talk about that. I mean, yes, there's no argument here that slavery was bad, and I don't know. I'm not getting into that decision. I'm not going to get into that discussion.
Independence were slave owners.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that discussion. So I mean, it's a dead end discussion. It's that black hole that they want to suck you into. So I mean, it just goes without saying that slavery was bad, and is still bad because there are some areas of the world where there's still slavery. Absolutely.
It's called human trafficking, and it happens every day.
Yeah.
And in places you don't think of.
Yeah. So let's concentrate on
my state.
Let's concentrate on that and this money that you're spending to go back and do these Civil War history reports. Spend it on stopping the current issues and problems that we're having with human trafficking. All right, I'm off my soapbox on that one. But again, thank you, Troy, for sending that jackwagon in. Huge jackwagon train this week. Guys, Gunny appreciates your participation, and he will make sure to secure and haul these jackwagons off to a place where us normal people don't have to worry about them anymore. Get that train out of here, Gunny. All right, so before we get into our interviews, I've got some people to thank here. We want to thank all the sponsors of Talking Lead, all the companies that make it possible for you lead heads each and every episode to enjoy our witty banter, if you want to call it that. The official optics of Talking Lead, Bill, is?
Right On Optics, Arizona.
There you go. Veteran-owned company, family-owned company, making some high-quality optics for some amazing prices. Very affordable prices. Red dot scopes, binoculars. Soon they're going to have rangefinders. So you guys check them out. Right On USA. Make sure you go back to last week's episode where we had J-Mac on, and he's educating us monthly, doing monthly segments with us to educate us on optics. X Steel Targets.
X Steel Targets.
The best, most affordable AR-500 steel targets are, Bill?
What?
X Steel Targets.
Sorry, X Steel Targets. On the market.
On the market.
Ting!
Ting!
Beep.
So you guys go xsteeltargets.com. Check out all the cool-ass targets that they've got there. Any and everything that you think that you would possibly want, they have there. And if it's not, you can get in touch with Bud and the gang there at X Steel Targets, and they will custom make a target for you. And they're getting into a lot of other things as well. They're soon to have Cerakoting services, and they've got some cool distressed flag art that they're going to be doing as well. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce that or not, but I'm telling you today because I talked to Bud and he was telling me about it. So he didn't tell me not to tell you. xsteeltargets.com. Who's the official wristwear of Talking Lead?
Defi
Watches, that's right. Make sure you guys go, and by the time you hear this, the discount of 44% is over. It was the end of July. You guys had several weeks there to take advantage of that deal, but as you're listening to this show, sadly, you missed out. But there's still great deals there. The value that you're getting on those watches is unbelievable just at regular retail price. But never fear. You know Jeremy always comes on the show and hits you guys with some amazing deals. So there'll be another one coming soon. And then, of course, our 10 watches for 10 vets. We gave 2 of those watches away last week. And stay tuned because we're going to be giving away some more this episode. Modern Spartan Systems. Don't just clean your firearms, Goody. You want to optimize your firearms with modern Spartan systems. They have a full line of cleaning products, such as their oils, their carbon destroyers, their copper destroyers. They also have some greases that are awesome for your gun. And, of course, what do I put in the lead sled, Bill? What keeps her running?
TVT.
The TVT engine oil additive. I'm up to 320,000 miles in the old lead sled and still kicking.
Which
I put it
about
in
321 once you drive your happy ass up to Michigan for horseshoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait. oh, bullshit, dude.
Yeah. We'll
and where
about
would
that.
I find these fabulous products, Marty?
So you're just going to go to modernspartansystems.com, Goody, and you're going to use that Leadhead discount code, which is Leadhead, and they're going to give you a nice discount there. And, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Modernspartansystems.com. Check them out. 1776 United, the official swag providers of Talking Lead. You guys can go there and get our T-shirts. We've got the classic T-shirts. We've got the Leadhead Brigade T-shirts. We've got the Leadhead Brigade patches there. The tumblers are still, we're this close. He just released his tumblers. So 1776 United has their version of the Talking Lead Leadies, or the Black Assault mugs there. So I guess he wanted to release his before he released mine. But you can still get Talking Leads at dip123.com/Talking Lead. They are better than a Yeti. They're a Leady.
What?
Yes. The Talking Lead Black Assault mugs. Don't be a snowflake. Get them today. dip123.com/Talking Lead. Baby. So we're going to get into our interviews from Boston, where we are honoring Chris Schoppmeyer, a great FLEOA board member, activist,
and a wildlife fisheries officer.
Wildlife and fisheries officer with NOAA, the National Oceanic Administration, whatever those NOAA call signs stand
It's National
Oceanic.
Yes,
and atmospheric.
Administration.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, one of you say it correctly.
Goody.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric. I forgot what the H is.
Administration.
Oh, okay.
The National Oceanic
and Atmospheric
Administration.
Administration. There you go.
Okay, so he was a federal agent for them, and he did a lot of great things with them as well. Not only serving our country, but also his community. He was well loved, and there was a lot of support there for him. I was very humbled and sad that I didn't get to know Chris myself. But Gunny, kick off our interviews for us.
Howdy! Hit it, sweetheart. Sir, aye, sir.
All right.
732.
All right, Leadheads, welcome back to the Talking Lead podcast. And this is a very special episode of the Talking Lead podcast, coming to you guys from Boston. We're at is this the Hilton?
Hilton Back Bay.
Hilton Back Bay. So you may hear a little echo in the room. So we're in a little conference room here. So our audio may sound a little differently, but still going to be the awesome quality that you Leadheads are used to. But I'm going to go ahead and get started because this is going to be a very awesome episode. We are here in Boston for a reason, and we're going to go around the table, and we've got our good buddies Nate and Bill and Carl. I was just trying to say Carl. I probably should have got your name before. And you guys are familiar with Nate and Bill, but I'm going to go ahead and have them introduce them to you new Leadheads that may have not heard our past episodes with them. So, Nate, we'll start with you.
Thanks, Marty. I'm Nate Katura. I'm the National President for the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association.
It's a mouthful.
It sure is. We just say FLEOA. It's a lot easier.
It is. It's much easier.
Much agreed. Bill Hampstead, Vice President, Member Benefits for FLEOA.
Bill Doe Teabaggins. As he's affectionately known.
By Marty.
To you, Leadheads.
Or Lefty.
Yeah. And then Carl.
It's Carl Greider, and I'm with the Boston Red Sox.
The Boston Red Sox.
Woohoo!
Yeah, baby. So we're going to go to a game a little bit later today. Boston's playing Minnesota.
Correct.
The Twins. As we're speaking, Boston is on top of the Major League Baseball. They're number one right now.
Yeah, the best record in baseball at 71-32.
71-32. I was close. I said 34.
Man, I wish the Tigers were somewhere even close to that, but nope.
No.
They'll get back there.
Well, one day, I hope.
Maybe not this year.
No.
So how many games are left in this season? A bunch?
So they play 161 for the full season, so still got a handful. Second half should be exciting. We have a bunch of AL East games, especially against the Yankees. So should have a good second half here. Hopefully we can stay on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not the reason why we're here, but it's one of the things that we're going to do while we're here.
Right.
So we'll leave it to you guys to talk about the special occasion why we've gathered in Boston.
You can take that one, Nate.
All right. So that's great. I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah. So we're here to honor and celebrate our good friend. His name is Chris Schoppmeyer, and he was a very important officer of FLEOA. He carried a number of titles and roles in FLEOA, and through the years, anybody that got to know Chris knew that he was one of these guys who, I guess for lack of a better word or phrase, you could say he was it's kind of a cliche, but it kind of fit Chris. He was like salt of the earth guy.
Right.
He was one of these guys who was just down to earth. He didn't care about who you were, what your background was, or anything. He treated you like you would want to be treated. He's just one of those type of guys.
Right. Solid dude.
Solid dude as solid comes, right? And Chris was he's a very passionate man, and he loved the outdoors. He loved, conservation. He was a special agent with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration,
also known as NOAA.
NOAA, yep.
Yeah.
And so he kind of had some opposite views of some of the more avid fishermen in the area and stuff, but Chris was very fair, and but he was very, very passionate about it and wanted to make sure that our lands, our waters were clean and free, and that everybody, no matter where you are, you had an opportunity to enjoy our national parks, and wherever that you were from, you could enjoy the outdoors, and that was kind of who Chris was, and he was one of these national officers in FLEOA where you ask him to do something and he would be the first one to raise his hand and volunteer. He was that type of a guy, and he did that time and time again. And one of the things that he started to do was, out of nowhere, he just started to volunteer for the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund in Washington, D.C. to help set up these law enforcement appreciation games, and he did them here in Boston at Fenway Park.
Okay.
And it was one of the most attended events all across Major League Baseball, and that was because of Chris's hard work and the things that he would do to get people out to these events.
Yeah, and you worked hand in hand with him, Carl, on organizing those events here at Fenway.
Yeah, I started with the Red Sox in 2013, and even prior to that, he was working with the Red Sox organization, putting these events together. I think at the time there was only maybe 6 or 8 teams that were doing it. Mm-hmm. Now the Memorial Fund is pretty much every MLB team does a law enforcement night with proceeds benefiting the Memorial Fund out of D.C.
Okay, very nice. And tonight we're going to honor Chris during the Minnesota game.
Correct. We're going to do a pregame ceremony, bring his family out onto the field. And I know Nate and Bill could talk more about Schotzy, the K9 dog, but we're going to bring out the K9 dog that's in training and do a pregame ceremony, put Chris on his image on the scoreboard, and obviously recognize his efforts for what he's done for the Red Sox and for the law enforcement community.
Yeah, very good. I'm very honored to be here, and I got chills when you're telling me about that. So I'm really looking forward to that tonight. It's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah, going down on Fenway Field.
I mean, even if we don't see the game, but it's going to be awesome. Just that ceremony is going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, no, going down on Fenway is amazing. It's one of those fields you can't really say what it is. I mean, it's just an awesome experience to be standing down on Fenway. It's got a
reputation that, yeah.
I work there every day, and every day it's just you're amazed when walking into the building.
Just like I'm at Fenway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the last original parks, isn't it? That and Wrigley?
Fenway is the oldest. Wrigley is, I believe, 2 years behind that, and then you jump up to Dodger Stadium. So you could say Fenway and Wrigley are the last of the...
The last of the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love coming to this park. This is one of my favorite cities, in the country, hands down. Milwaukee's, second close. Detroit.
The food here is awesome. We had a sampling of it last night. We went to an Italian restaurant. It was called, Nate?
Giacomo's. There we go.
Yes, Giacomo's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On the south end.
South end is like a family-owned Italian restaurant. It wasn't a huge place. I mean, there's probably, 20, 30 tables maybe.
Tops.
But there was a standing line outside to get in.
Right.
People were just
if anybody goes there
in the rain.
Yeah, but if anybody goes there, just a heads up, cash only.
Oh yeah, it's cash only.
Thank God we had cash on us.
Yeah, but it was really good. I enjoyed that. So if you guys, you lead heads are around here, or you're coming to Boston, go check out
Giacomo's.
I can't even say Giovanni's. It's Giacomo's.
Good place. Great food. Great Italian food.
Yes, it was.
Now, this isn't just going to end tonight with the dedication at the ball game. There's actually a ceremony and a park dedication that's going to happen up in New Hampshire.
Correct.
Right? Talk about that.
All right. When Chris passed, unfortunately, he was known for putting on the Newmarket Fishing Derby.
Yeah, he did a trout. He did for the children. He would organize a trout fishing derby for children.
Oh, okay.
To get them interested in the fish. I don't know if it was at this park, but it was in
Newmarket.
Newmarket. Right. Yep.
I got you.
So because of that, there was a plot of land. It was purchased in honor of Chris, and they turned it into a park. FLEOA sponsored a couple of absolutely gorgeous granite benches in honor of Chris, engraved with the FLEOA logo and all that. So there is a dedication of the park. It's finally done on Saturday.
Cool.
And then afterwards, we'll be going to do a gathering at his favorite watering hole, which I cannot remember the name of right now. But it's a cool little bar.
Okay. Do you know what it is?
Are you making it?
I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm in a wedding on Saturday.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah,
Yep. Sorry.
I'm not going to be able to make it.
Bummer.
So the park dedication.
That's in Newmarket, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay.
The bar was Riverwalk, I believe.
Riverworks.
Right.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty good watering hole right there.
Yes, it does.
So we're going to have a good time at Riverworks.
We will.
So this is going to be an awesome weekend. We already kicked it off, like I said, yesterday. Went out and had some good food, good times. Today, about 7? Is that?
Game starts around.
Yeah, the start time of the game is 7:10. Okay. So the actual ceremony is probably going to be sometime in that 6:45 to 6:55 range is when they'll actually do the ceremony for Chris.
Okay. And you were talking about he did a lot with the service dogs as well. Talk a little bit more about what Chris did with service dogs and what you guys did at the park there.
Yeah, definitely. Back in 2014, Chris would always text me, email me crazy ideas of what he wants to do for the next law enforcement night, the next FLEOA night, and we'd go have lunch and kind of weed down the list and say, okay, here's what's doable, here's what we're not able to do, and came up with a fantastic idea that really took off in 2014. He suggested that we form a committee, and we have all law enforcement agencies across the country submit for a Canine of the Year dog.
Okay, cool.
And then Chris and his team kind of formed a subcommittee of about 6 people, and they narrowed the list down to about 8 or 9 canine dogs. So on RedSox.com, we put up a page where fans can go on and vote for who their the top canine dog was based off the story. And then we brought all the canines onto the field prior to the game, and then we announced the winning canine dog, which is the Norfolk, Connecticut Police Department.
Oh, congratulations to Norfolk. Yeah. And how long ago was that?
That was back in the summer of 2014.
Okay. And then the Schotzy that's going to be there today is a service dog. Is that correct?
Correct. He's a canine in training, and I think Bill can explain a little bit more about Schotzy.
A little bit more. His actual handlers or trainers are here, but they got in super early this morning, and they are crashing for a little bit before they come over here.
Okay.
But Schotzy, obviously named in honor of Chris, is being trained by Havoc Canine out of Utah. Havoc Canine does training for eventual canine dogs for free, and then donates the dogs to police departments. And right now, I believe Boston PD is looking at picking up Schotzy, which would be a great honor.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they do.
So we got more people that we're going to be interviewing.
Yep.
Throughout the day.
Correct.
Before game time. We weren't able to set up. I know we told you guys that we're going to be at Fenway Park, but for whatever reasons, I mean, they have their good reasons. We're not going to be able to record there. So we're going to do everything beforehand. So we've got some more people coming in for some interviews. So as you guys are listening to this, go ahead and go to our social media posts because we'll be taking pictures during the game and during the ceremony the next day in New Hampshire. And
and look for Marty. He's going to be down on field, recognized. So. He's not happy with me about that one,
You'll have to go to a rerun if they play reruns, because by the time they hear this game's over with.
Right. But, the social media, I'll get pictures for you while you're down on field.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So that ought to be.
Thank you, Carl.
There's no hiding.
So tell us who we've got coming up to interview today. Okay.
And then we got Brian Montgomery, who the Lead Heads have heard before. He's been on the show a few times. He'll be coming in eventually. He's
Benchmade.
Yep, Benchmade Knife Company. Gudrun Johnson, former Army canine handler, Connecticut State Trooper. She will be wandering down at some point. Goody.
So lots more coming.
Lots more.
So stay tuned, and we will be back with more from Boston. Yeah. So before we get to the other interviews, since Carl is a new guy to the Talking Lead podcast, we're not going to let him get away that easily. And I don't think we've hit Nate with these questions either, so we're going to hit them both with the new guy questions. So the first question is, what's your earliest recollection or memory of shooting a firearm? We'll start with Nate.
Well, I started to hunt with my dad at the age of 10. So we went in Wisconsin, where I'm from. Deer hunting is a national pastime. I mean, I would say a half of the state hunts in November.
Put that meat on the table.
Oh, yeah. And so I went with my father, my two older brothers, and so I got to go out to the range and shoot a few times prior to it. Mm-hmm. But the first year, this is a great story because it kind of initiated me into this whole culture, right, of deer hunting. So we trot out into this woods that's about a half mile. It's November. It's cold. There's snow on the ground, right? And
I would hope so in Wisconsin.
Yep. I'm standing about maybe 100 feet from my dad. He's got a separate stand, so I'm standing at another place not too far from him. And along comes, I forget how big the deer was, but he was about a 4-pointer or 6-pointer. And he goes and he shoots it with, at the time, he was carrying a Ruger 44 Magnum.
Oh, dang.
Rifle.
Okay.
That's a hand cannon.
Well, they are. My brother has one, and he actually shot a black bear with that one, but that's a whole different story. But for this one, so my dad wasn't, he was a decent shot, but this time the deer turned from him, and he shot it in the rear end.
Oh, dang.
And since I was the new guy, I got to hold the rear legs, and he was cleaning it out, and he shot. It was
messed it up.
Yeah, messed it up. It was pretty nasty. I almost lost my cookies there.
Yeah, but a kill's a kill.
Yeah, but anyway, that was kind of my first experience, and so I've since then I bird hunt, I bear hunt.
So what's your earliest regulation of actual trigger time shooting?
Trigger time shooting was 10.
First thing?
The first thing was shooting a 303 British.
303 British.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
At 10 years old. Nice.
10 years old, yep. And then I shot my dad's 44. Again, it was a rifle, not a pistol.
Yeah.
So that was about 10, 11, and so I didn't do a lot of shooting then. As I got older, and then I accumulated my own firearms, and but at the very young age.
Do you still have those rifles, the British and the 44?
Actually, my older brother has them.
Okay, so they're still in the family.
They are.
That's awesome.
Yep. Bunch of shotguns and all that as well. So absolutely.
Very cool.
Yep.
Carl?
So I don't have a great story like that to tell. My extent of firearms would be probably a Super Soaker water gun.
There you go.
So I've never shot a rifle firearm before in my life.
We need to correct you.
Yeah, I'm growing up. My dad was an avid hunter. Every Friday after Thanksgiving, headed out for a week, and I think as a kid, he would come back with nothing. So I kind of lost interest and stuck with playing baseball, basketball, your normal sports, but never got into hunting or shooting firearms.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. That's okay. That's why we're here. We're going to help you with that. We're gonna get you down to Tennessee.
Okay.
Let's shoot some guns, have a good time. So next question, and we know law enforcement, military service. Nate, talk about your background a little bit.
Oh, sure thing. So I'm 28 years as a federal agent. I spent the first 8 years of my career from 1990 to 1998 as a deputy U.S. Marshal. Mm-hmm. And then 1998, I kind of switched up things, and I went into the white collar. So I worked for the Social Security Administration, Inspector General's office, doing.
Now, white collar, does that mean you just got a desk job? Is that what that means?
Sort of, but I'm going after people that are stealing, they're scamming, and sometimes when their entire lifestyle is dependent on that stealing, those paychecks and stuff, they'll fight you, okay. and you would think as a deputy U.S. Marshal, I was involved in some pretty, dangerous situations and went after some pretty bad hombres.
Yeah.
But
so who's the baddest you went after?
Oh, I mean, this guy, he escaped from a county jail. Actually got a hacksaw blade and cut through the bars of a window to jail, escaped, went to Mexico, and so we followed him down there and eventually caught him, but it was several months later, and I got to take 2 trips down to Mexico.
So was there any gunfire exchange with this guy?
No, he went peacefully.
Oh, okay.
I
want a shootout story, man.
Well, the closest one I can give you was when I guess I was a few years back. I was with Social Security, and we were investigating the disappearance of this suspect's other-in-law, and so Social Security had been paying checks to her for like years and years and years, but suddenly nobody knows where she is. So my partner and myself and a deputy sheriff go to this guy's residence, and this is in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And he knows we're coming, and we get to the house, and he's not coming out. It's real quiet, and it's one of those situations where the hair stands in the back of your head, and
you know something's not right.
Yeah, something's not right here. Finally, his wife comes out, and she's not coming towards us. She's staying back. He's at about a few minutes after that, he pops out of nowhere, and he starts screaming at me, and I just trying to calm him down, like we just want to talk.
Yeah, and find out what's going on.
Right,
here,
exactly. And he's probably about 3 feet from me, and he pulls out a metal shank. It's like a rusty metal file.
Metal file.
And he's thrusting it at me. I almost shot him. He came within a second. If he wouldn't have dropped that, I would have plugged him there.
Put
at that
one
point.
right there.
I would have. My finger was in the trigger. I was ready to shoot, and he dropped it. He came that close. So that was the closest I ever came to shooting somebody, but he came damn close.
So I take it he was stealing his mother's Social Security.
Yeah,
check?
He and his wife.
He and his wife. Yeah. Did they murder her?
We never found the body. We have no idea. We have our theories what happened because he actually ran a dump, I guess.
Oh,
and so what's also funny is her other son, so it'd be his brother-in-law. We can't find him either.
Oh, really?
Their story was they're on a long RV trip across the country. Yeah, I guess they still are.
This sounds like a Forensic Files case right there. I love Forensic Files. You should turn that one over to Forensic Files. They'll do a story on it, man. That would be awesome.
we had everything out on
So
this.
introduce the lovely young lady that just walked in.
This is our good friend, Goody Johnson, and she's a retired Connecticut state trooper.
Good
and
morning.
just all-around good friend, and we're happy that she's here to join us to celebrate our for Chris. Yep.
Welcome in, Goody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect timing because you're here for the new guy questions, and you're a new guy.
FNG questions, great.
You're a new guy.
I'm a new girl.
We're gonna guy.
No.
I mean, it's
lady.
Lady.
God made me woman first.
Okay, all right.
Trooper second.
Okay, and you're a Buddhist.
You need to put that out there, huh?
I gotta throw that out there. I've never met a Buddhist before. You're the first Buddhist that I've ever met, so it's intriguing.
Oh, God.
So we're going to back up one question.
Okay.
What's your earliest recollection of shooting a firearm?
6 years old.
You were 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
tell us the occasion.
It was mostly because of my brother. My brother
shot your brother?
No. my brother, who was a hellmaker from coming out of the womb, took a fascination to guns, and my mother decided that, she had a lot of police friends, so we had a local police officer come over and teach us how to shoot.
Oh, that's cool.
To at least get the wow factor off of it from my brother.
Yeah, the stigmatism.
Yep, I was 6, he was 4.
Do you remember what kind of gun that was? Was it a revolver? Or was it semi-auto?
Don't remember. It was whatever the PD was carrying at the time.
Did you cry?
No.
At 6, you were like, let me shoot again?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do it again.
Yeah, I can do this, and it goes boom, cool.
Yeah. So where are you from originally?
Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was born in Massachusetts and raised, during the school year, Connecticut, in the summers in Louisiana.
Okay. And your background, right? Tell us what you do again. I know Nate told us, but
I'm a retired Connecticut state trooper. I was also in the Army as an MP dog handler. I was the only female in my unit because I have a non-gender specific first name, and this was in the late 80s, early 90s, so I will let you figure out how much fun that was.
Right. Goody.
It wasn't.
Goody Johnson. What kind of dogs did you handle?
My training dog and my permanent party dog were both Malinois. Okay. Harry was a 98-pound beast. He was my training dog, and one of the rules for handling him or handling any of the dogs, if you put the choke chain on wrong, you had to carry him back to the kennel and put it on right. Oh. The training area was 2 miles away from the kennel, so I was OCD about checking it, just checking it all the time to make sure I didn't have to carry 98 pounds of dog 2 miles back to the kennel.
No doubt.
Wow. Would the dog even let you carry it back?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was a good boy. It's just carrying for 2 miles that would have been a painful experience.
I think for anybody.
So we're gonna go to Carl now, and no law enforcement, no military background. Anybody in your family?
Yeah. I had most of my family were Navy. My brother, I have a twin brother. He was in the Air Force. I have cousins that are police officers. One's a police officer in Reading, Pennsylvania. The other one is down in Virginia.
Okay, so it's in your blood.
So some good friends of mine, really good friends of mine, are police officers. So
yes, very good. So and we talked a little bit about your background. So we kind of did 2 in 1 there with you. So that gets us back on track to question number 3. Unless you got like an awesome, cool story you want to tell us about when you served.
What, military?
Yeah.
No, let's not.
Okay.
Let's not go there.
Okay.
I mean,
you don't have to.
No, it's the tale of 2 cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst at times, especially being the female in my unit.
Yeah. But you got a lot of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from the day I got to the unit, when my commander decided to say, you want to be treated like one of the boys? I'll treat you like one of the boys. Opens up the drawer. There's a giant thing of Johnny Walker, and he said, catch. I caught it literally by the bottom third. He said, drink to the thumb line. Don't remember the next day.
You're right. That's a hell of a way to get broken in, right? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but company training, we had risk tournaments. We went to some brewery tours. It was a different military than today's military.
Cool. Question 3. And we'll start with Nate again, or whoever wants to take it. So when it comes to pop culture, what's your go-to, whether it's a movie, a TV show, a magazine, maybe a song, maybe something else that's gun-related, that you go to, where you get your information from?
Gun-related?
Or you enjoy?
Well, I usually I get things right from my Google feed, because Google feed.
Just like Google, you just go to Google. And do it.
My Google feed. If you would have Google now, it figures out what you like and sends you stories from around the internet, and I get a lot of that in my Google feed. So I'll just read stories.
And we know Carl's not into firearms, but I mean, there's got to be a movie, shoot 'em up movie or something like that, or TV show that you really enjoy.
I mean, I tend to watch a lot of like the law enforcement movies, all the CSI shows that are out there.
Digging those?
My favorite movie of all time is Usual Suspects.
Oh,
there you go.
So there's plenty.
That's a great movie.
Plenty of action in that movie.
Yeah, The Usual Suspects.
Casual.
Nate?
Yeah, so for me, my kids know this too, is I have a hard time watching police-related movies or especially TV shows
a lot,
because they're just so bad. They're just so unrealistic. But saying that, there are a few over the years that I really enjoyed. Hill Street Blues. When I was a kid growing up,
showing your age now.
I am showing my age. Loved Hill Street Blues. Still my all-time favorite. The second was NYPD Blue.
Okay.
I loved that show for some reason.
Who's in that?
NYPD
Blue. I remember that.
That was Dennis.
He showed his butt in one episode, if I remember correctly.
I can't forget his name.
Yeah, I know you're talking
catching
about.
me off guard. I could bring.
That's another old one though. You're showing your age again.
I'm sorry. And on HBO there was a series called The Wire.
Oh God, that was so good.
And
I've heard that was good. I've not seen that yet.
The technology you see for today is completely outdated, but at the time it was cutting edge, and the series received quite a bit of criticism from police because it actually gave away our tradecraft.
Oh,
Agreed.
okay. So
And
it was a little too accurate.
It was very accurate. It was like, because I did some of that stuff. And it's like, as police, we have to be very protective of our craft because, the bad guys are watching us and they're constantly updating their techniques and trying to outdo us. But now you could watch it, the technology there is so outdated. But a lot of it is good old-fashioned police work, too. Yeah. And that is,
is that still on HBO? Or
you can get it on demand.
Yeah, if you go.
But it's not like a still doing new episodes.
No, it was just, I think, 3 years or something like that.
If you go on HBO Go, you can watch you can binge watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's one of those that I've got it's to do. One of my to do binge watches. I've got other ones.
Your bucket list for TV.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I got to do this one first, and then I got to finish this one, and then I can't start a bunch at one time. To do the binge.
Then you screw up storylines and that's not that.
Yeah.
Show. I do the same thing.
Yeah, but that's a great point you bring up there.
Yeah, it was still good. It was well done, well acted. I mean, they definitely had some good technical experts on that in the show. But for the most part, you watch some of these police shows on there today. I just can't watch. I guess like my kids.
I watched, one of my favorites was Longmire.
I did like Longmire. I did watch Longmire, awesome. And that was good.
Yeah, I know it wasn't realistic, but
sort of it is. The Western sheriffs,
fantasy, getaway release,
Western sheriffs are like that, though.
Oh yeah,
oh yes,
that's the way they are.
Well, I mean, some of them, yeah.
I like. So in the beginning, like the first season or two, and then he started getting a little more ridiculous, and I started getting mad at him because he wouldn't. Anyway, that's Longmire. What about you? Movie-wise, just any movie. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh,
Goody.
It depends on what I'm in the mood for.
What's your just go-to? You're gonna sit down. I can, it's your comfort movie. I could watch this anytime.
There's too many.
What's the first one popped in your mind right now? What are you thinking of?
Godfather 2.
Godfather 2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I love. Stop. I love Godfather 2. Your peanut gallery is up in arms.
Bilbo teabagging.
Exactly. Oh, a historical point. I've been on 3 episodes of Real Stories of the Highway Patrol. If you want to go
really?
age, yes.
You've been on them.
Yes.
So you're a TV star.
I am not.
Do you know the episode numbers?
I wish I did. I had been. Some of my friends have been looking for them, and I don't.
What is the series again called?
Real Stories of the Highway Patrol.
Real Stories of the Highway. Is that on History Channel or Discovery?
No, it was on Network, and they every once in a while Fox will play older episodes from it.
Oh, cool. Were you busting somebody?
One was my first marijuana arrest, and the one that took up half a show was a street fight in Danielson, and we had to break up the fight of a guy that was in my car. I had the cameraman and the sound guy behind me, and his nose was bloody. He was filling up his mouth with blood and spitting it on me. And we get into the barracks, and the girlfriend said, he's HIV positive, right? I'm like, oh. Yeah, so then I had to go to the hospital, get tested,
so
start
that's
medication.
Another offense, because attempted, what do they call it? Attempted murder?
It was not at the time, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just plain old assault on a police officer. Oh. I mean, like I said, he let his mouth.
So I take it you're okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But those the earlier medications to help an exposure were kind of harsh.
Yeah.
They made you sick. They made you very sick.
Oh man. So you guys can go back and see Goody in a few of those episodes. That's awesome.
If you ever find them.
Have they got the guy spitting on you? Is that actually? Did they get that on?
You can see this. You can see he's doing something. You can't see that he's spitting on me because it's dark, and all you can see are the street lights going up Main Street in Danielson over to the barracks.
Can you put hoods on people?
We don't have them.
I just as a law enforcement.
Yeah, DOC has
allowed
spit shields, but we don't.
We just did it old-fashioned way. So when I was a deputy U.S. Marshal, I flew on what we call Con Air. This is the airlift that flies prisoners across the country. So whenever we had a prisoner that decided that he wanted to spit, we just broke out the pantyhose. And we put pantyhose over his head. Perfect. And that's how he sat the rest of the flight, with pantyhose over his head.
Right, and that's what they should do.
Mm-hmm. It works perfectly.
Nip it.
Control top pantyhose. You absolutely positively have to control it.
And another semi-decent movie, Con Air.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one.
Well, again, it's a little unrealistic.
Cyrus the Virus was awesome.
Yeah. Buscemi.
No, that was John Malkovich, Cyrus the Virus.
Oh, yeah, okay. What was Buscemi's character? He was just freaky weird.
Yeah, he was the one that wandered, I can't remember the name, but he wandered off with the little girl. Yeah. I think he had killed, he was a murderer, but said, well, I kind of deserved it.
They had him all chained up like...
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, you're expecting this big posing, and it's a little...
And it's Buscemi.
Buscemi is hilarious.
Yeah, so they have to do things like that. Otherwise, people wouldn't watch the real thing. It's actually so really boring.
All right, next question. When it comes to next gotta have, wanna have, piece of kit, firearm, vehicle, whatever it may be, what's your next gotta have, wanna have? Your bucket list.
I'm not allowed to have what I want to have in my state.
Well, what?
I'm not allowed to have what I want.
That's the next question. So answer this question, then we'll get to that question.
I'm a Stag Arms AR-15 left-handed girl all day, every day. You can't have it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's the next question. What that you can have? What would you have?
It's just been scrubbed down to nothingness. It really has. Our laws have scrubbed it down to...
Doesn't have to be a gun. Doesn't have to be a gun. Could be a piece of kit. Could be TV maybe that you're wanting.
Well, I have a really.
What have you been eyeing out there? You say
I have to get a new cell phone, and I'm just waiting.
Cell phone?
No, seriously. I love my phone. The Note 9, which is supposed to come out, is ridiculously expensive.
Okay, you're killing me, Whitey. Nate.
Listen, if I could have, I would probably get a new, either, I haven't decided yet, I told my wife, you'll recognize if I'm having a midlife crisis when you come home and there's a Camaro or
Maserati
or a Dodge Challenger.
Okay.
The midlife crisis car?
Hellcat in the driveway.
There you go.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
I would take a Hellcat in a New York second.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a midlife
Carl?
crisis car.
Mm-hmm. I would have to go with a home right now. The wife and I are in the process of trying to buy a house up here, and if you're not from Boston, it is extremely expensive.
Yes, it is.
My wife is from Texas, so her idea of a 4,000 square foot house with a 3-car garage and a yard doesn't exist. For several $1 million up here.
Yeah.
And I'm not hitting home runs for the Red Sox. I'm selling tickets, and I don't make that kind of money to afford it. So we're looking
get
at
your
homes.
ticket sales up, son.
Yeah. Even then, we couldn't afford it. But
well, you guys just come on to Tennessee. I know a really good real estate agent there, and we'll take care of you.
She has the itch to move back down south. So.
Well, come on. Yeah. You get my contact info.
I was say the commute would have been killer on him.
Commute, yeah. Well, there's some sport teams down there. We could.
Oh yeah, definitely. A good friend of mine works for the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, nice. So my next question is: laws be damned, money be damned, rules be damned. What would you own?
Tropical island
wait
in the
for it.
Caribbean.
Wait for it.
Flamethrower.
A flamethrower? Okay.
Oh my God, those are so much fun.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go for a tropical island. In the Caribbean with a 10,000 square foot house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, would you have like a tennis court, a pool, a shooting range?
Yep. Basketball court, swimming pool, tennis courts, horseshoe pits.
Nice.
Gun range would be great. Absolutely. All that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Gun range and
yeah.
I'm trying to think of the backstop issues to that.
Well, you're on an island, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
there's nothing else around.
Except boats.
Well, they better get all the way.
Where your island is.
They better get all the way. That's all I can say.
There's a no boat zone so far out. Just set your parameters. You're thinking too much into this.
No, but
she's really overthinking
she's
this.
She's killing your dreams.
She's killing it because all I would do was dig a big pit, right? And, huge, like a real nice, but you're in the ground, so you're shooting up against the ground.
And then there's lead abatement.
Oh, my God.
There's no laws.
You're killing me.
Laws be damned, rules be damned.
I don't care.
Lead abatement on an island.
If I can afford all that, I'm so rich, it won't matter.
They're not making them out of lead anymore anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. Carl.
I think I'll be Nate's neighbor.
On the next island over?
Yeah.
You come over anytime, Carl. We'll have a good time.
Would you own a sports team? Do you love it that much?
I do. Obviously, having the money, it would be difficult.
But I just said, laws be damned, money be damned.
It takes a lot of commitment to own a sports team. Obviously, you're in the public eye a lot more than just owning a regular business. You're constantly getting criticized.
Oh God, they're overthinking these questions, guys. You're killing me.
So I mean,
it's a fantasy.
I'd probably be on the private island and not have to worry about owning the team.
You guys you're just too practical.
Oh, I'm not.
Nate's not. Yeah. What's your answer, Bill? Laws be damned, rules be damned. What would you want?
Damned.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you hit me with this last time. I said a minigun.
Yeah.
And you laughed at me. Everyone says a damn minigun. I don't have any other better answer right now.
You still want the minigun?
Oh, fuck yes.
It's perfect. At least you stick to your
He's
guns.
consistent.
He is.
I am consistent.
He wants what he wants. That's perfect.
But with unlimited ammo to shoot it because I'm going to need that.
There's the fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, once you're out of ammo, then it just kind of.
And the gun never runs out of ammo. You never have to reload it.
It's
it
like
just
movies.
keeps on going.
Yeah,
that's
like
right.
Movies.
I do that.
Just like Predator.
Just like Predator, yeah.
Well,
and Jesse the Body Ventura.
That's right.
I watch Westworld, and everybody's got revolvers, but I'm counting, and I'm like, what? It has to be the biggest freaking revolver I've ever seen because it keeps going and going and going. I'm hearing 10, 11, 12. You're not reloading. How is this possible?
They're robots.
The magic of HBO.
They're robots. Westworld's an awesome show. I love Westworld.
I
can't wait till the next one.
I'm such a Bernard fan. Oh,
you digging Bernard?
If I could take one out of the closet, remember all the busted Bernards that were in the closet?
Yeah.
I'd take one home.
You take one with you?
I would take one home.
What would you do with it? What would you do with it?
That's not for this show. That's for another show.
He'd do dishes and make your bed. And
when we go to Talking Bernard, I will tell you.
Talking Bernard. That's hilarious.
Bernard, stop talking.
All right, last question. If you could spend the day at the range, and I'll modify it for you, if you could spend the day at the range with anyone, whether there's dead, alive, a fictional character, or a group of people.
Wow, you hit me with that one.
Goody? Nate's thinking on that.
I got to think.
Dead or alive, or fictitious.
I got it.
Who would you like to spend the day at the range with?
Arlie Emmer.
The Gunny.
God rest his.
Yeah.
He'd be fun.
Yeah, he is fun. Yeah, he's a great guy.
George Patton.
A great guy.
George Patton.
George Patton?
George Patton. General George Patton.
And would you want his He's the one with the pearl.
The pearl handle revolvers. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure he would be awesome at the range.
Yeah.
Love to talk with that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a World War II buff, so I did a lot of research on Patton.
I got you.
Interesting character.
So basically, it's who you'd like to spend some time with and get knowledge, and so it doesn't have to be a range. It could be just you're hanging out.
I guess coming from baseball and to sound cliche, it would probably be Barry Bonds. In my generation, steroids or not, I felt he was the best hitter.
Yeah.
So it'd be awesome to be in a batting cage or something with him.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. And he's still around, right?
Yeah, I think he's actually going to the San Francisco Giants. They're doing like a Hall of Fame recognition for him.
I was going to say, did he ever get all the steroid stuff cleared? Or
No, I think the writers still are hung up on that, and it'll be a challenge to see guys like him or McGuire,
writers,
Clemens get in, and it's a shame.
Those who can't do right.
Yes.
As soon as Pete Rose gets in, I'm sure that everybody else will.
Yes. he needs in. Let Pete Rose in. That would be who I'd spend the day at the range with, Pete Rose.
Really?
Because he'll bet on you?
No.
Just to see.
Just because I think he'd be a cool dude to hang out with. And we talk about all the bull crap and about him not being in the Hall of Fame. I think he's probably over it by now, but I think he would really like to get in. Yeah, I think
he's signing autographs in Vegas now. So
is he? You're going to watch out for OJ.
OJ
will come in and steal his memorabilia from him.
I was going to say, are there odds on for when he goes back to jail? Because he just can't seem to behave himself.
OJ?
Yeah.
I thought he was still in jail.
No, he is out.
He's out?
He's
again?
Out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's the only thing he spent time in jail for was for the Las Vegas robbery.
The Las Vegas thing. Yeah. Oh.
But the videos to that are amazing because he just had his two boys go ham in that hotel room.
Really? Mm-hmm. I haven't seen those videos yet. So that's out there for the public
to see.
Out there. Okay, I have to check that out. All right. So that's all the questions I got. You guys have any questions for me, the host? Oh, so Bill's doing something here. Hold on. I mean, that's just like, here, take it, dude. You got to make a presentation. Here,
enjoy your black box.
Come over here. Come over and tell everybody what you're doing.
I just hooked Carl up with the Defi Battlefield on behalf of FLEOA and all the help that you have given us. Greatly appreciate it, brother.
Thank you. Likewise.
Yeah. Defi, the official wristwear of Talking Lead, Defi Watches. Now till the end of the month, you get 44% off. Go to defywatches.com.
/org.
Perfect lead in.
/.
We'll be back. We've got some more new guys coming.
Montgomery will be here.
So stay tuned. We'll be back with more from Boston. Say it in your accent.
I'm not from here, so I don't have the accent.
Oh, I was going to say, you don't have a very thick accent. So.
It's goddamn Boston.
There you go. All right, lead heads. We are back in Boston. And we're continuing our interviews here in our honor of Mr. Schoppmeyer. And joining us now, we've got no stranger to the show. We've got Mr. Brian Montgomery with Benchmade Knives.
Greetings, everybody.
Yay, Brian. And Brian doesn't disappoint because he knows that I like props. So he brought a whole table full of Benchmade Knives for me to fondle while we talk. So, Brian is going to be joining us for the game as well, in honor.
Go Sox.
Go Sox. Yeah, and they're playing Minnesota tonight, and we're all going to get to go down on the field and what do they call it?
Pre-game ceremony.
There you go, pre-game ceremony. I'm not used to those things, so I don't. Nobody ever invites me to ceremonies.
You don't get invited to these things?
How do they get invited to ceremonies?
This is his first one. He's getting his.
What do I do with my hands? I don't.
Touch grass.
I don't know.
Because that'll go over well.
Chris Schoppmeyer is the occasion why we have all gathered this week, and but Brian brought some toys along, so I mean he's making it fun time for us now.
I don't think anything illustrates the fact more than this why you should have a TV show and not a podcast.
Right.
We've got a whole bunch of cool stuff in front of us that I'm sure your listeners would love to.
They would love to.
See and play with. And
as we're talking about these lead heads, go to Benchmade's website,
Benchmade.com.
Benchmade.com, and you can see what we're talking about. So, where are we going to start on this beautiful array of cutlery here?
Well, I brought a good sampling of things. I think that.
Ooh, what's that?
You're going to have to be a little more specific.
That one, yeah. Is that new?
That is actually very new. It is part of our hunt series.
Let's start with this.
Altitude.
Altitude.
Now, I have to throw in this disclaimer. I am not a hunter. Aside from hunting upland and waterfowl, I am not a big game hunter, never have been. I didn't have that growing up. My dad wasn't a big hunter, so it wasn't, that's one of the things that gets, it's a generational thing generally. People learn from their father.
So you had nothing to do with the design of this knife?
Absolutely nothing. But that being said, I did talk to our engineers and our product guys about the salient characteristics of that knife, so I can speak somewhat intelligently about it. So what it is, it's a skinning knife. It's for skinning and caping. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between those two things. If there is a difference. Yes.
So lead heads, send us an email, talkinglead@gmail.com. And who can tell us the difference between skinning and scaping is going to win something from the Leadhead Swag Ball.
And maybe there is no difference. I'm not sure. But when dressing down large game, you've killed an animal, and now it's time to do it. And I sound like an idiot when it comes to stuff because I've never done it before. I've never been on a big game hunt. Now, that being said, this knife is made from S90V steel. It is one of our highest premium steels. Once the edge is put on that, and the way they designed that edge and the shape of that blade, I'm told, it will not have to be resharpened. Now, don't freak out. It's not a perpetually sharp blade. It will need to be maintained, honed, touched up, stropped using a leather strop, using a ceramic rod. But once that edge is on there, if used properly and maintained, you should not have to resharpen. In other words, you're not going to have to take more metal off that. You will have to maintain that. That edge will develop imperfections, and it will fold over, the very small folds that can happen, and which would cause it to seem like it's gone dull. Maintaining that edge, you should not have to have that resharpened, at least not for a very, very long time.
And this is like a very minimal.
Yes, skeletonized handle. It's got some carbon fiber scales, micro scales on there. It's got a DLC coating. Very, very well designed, lightweight. It's got a nice sound to it.
It's got a nice little thump. It's got the serrations for the thumbs, the forefingers. Yep. So as we're skinning, some people like to choke up on the knife.
It has some jimping up top for that. That fine detail work on an animal. Once again, I'm not going to speak much more about that because I am talking out of school. Yes.
Yeah. What's the weight on this?
I will grab a catalog and I will.
Oh, that's okay. It's very, again, as a hunter, you're carrying all this stuff around in the woods. This is very minimal. Weight wise, it's very thin. But this would make a great skinner. Yeah, definitely. Yep. I could see me using that. Yeah.
I've actually had people tell me they like it for an everyday carry fixed blade knife,
which and it would work for that as well.
Yeah. It's got the handle's a little long for my taste for an everyday carry, because you do want to when using it for its intended purposes, you want to be able to get a good grip on it. You want to have that thing fill up your hand.
Right. And for EDC, you do have the gimping down for the grip area down there too, so it would stop your hand from going on up to the blade.
1.67 ounces.
There you go. I stalled long enough. And it comes with a nice sheath as well.
Yes, polymer sheath. Attach it to your pack, to your belt. Throw it inside your pack, whatever.
Yeah. I'm digging the carbon fiber that you've got there for the.
It also comes in a high vis orange. Color. The entire.
Oh, really?
Yes, the entire knife is
that's beautiful.
Cerakoted orange. So when you're out in the field, if you do drop it, you can find it easily. We partnered with First Light and with Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. We give a portion of the proceeds of the sales of this to those organizations.
Nice.
Which go to conservation, preservation of animals. And again, not going to talk much more about it because I'm not exactly sure what they do.
It's a beautiful knife. So you guys check it out. It's called the
Altitude.
The Altitude.
15200. 15200 is the model number.
There's the model number, guys. So definitely check that one out. And then we've got another one that you were showing Goody there. Nice duty belt knife.
This is one of my personal favorites for a fixed blade. Small, compact. It's the Model 101 follow-up. And it's got a skeletonized handle, a very thin, low-profile sheath. It ships with 2 pieces of single wrap Velcro and some paracord. It's something you can attach to your duty belt. You can slide it right behind your cuff case, your mag pouch for some concealment. Everyday carry, you can just wrap it around your belt. If you're going on a hike, going camping, backpacking, you can attach it to the strap on your backpack. For even lower vis, even UC operations, it's something you could wear under your shirt as a neck knife. Very small, compact, but very usable. Lots of utilitarian value in that, and a great little backup tool as well. Now, we design, and a nice little sound too. This is
more of a thud than a ting.
This is not TV. The handle on that we designed with some jimping and some cleats, so you can lock in the paracord, wrap it, lock it in at the other end, cut it, burn it. You don't have to tie a knot. There's nothing hanging off the end. It's a nice tight fit, so you can actually use that paracord if you have to, and then wrap it back up very quickly and easily.
Nice. And the paracord comes with it as well.
Yep, ships with paracord and the Velcro straps.
Am I putting this in properly?
Pretty close. You had it right.
That way.
There you go.
There it is. Yeah.
Nice click.
Yeah. Clicks for our listening audience pleasure. Boom.
Yep.
Nice,
nice solid detent on that. We put detent on both sides of that because we didn't want that falling out. If you're gonna deploy that, you're gonna have to put a little elbow grease into it.
Little something in there. Yeah.
Yep. But in a high stress situation, that's not going to be an issue. But we don't want it falling out either. If you're in a foot pursuit or if you're getting in and out of your vehicle, we want that thing to stay.
Great EDC.
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect EDC.
Definitely.
Compact. You said you just latch it to your belt there, or you could latch it on your pack. Where do you want to put it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. And this was called
the 101 follow-up. Model number 101.
The follow-up.
Yep.
Like a Sunday Punch follow-up. Is that what?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Oh, very nice. And did you say what this was? The metal, the steel?
S30V steel.
S30V steel. Okay.
Yep.
Very nice. Like that. Do we want to talk price points on these?
I was just going to look that up for you. Actually.
Okay.
Retail price is $115.
$115 retail.
US dollars.
There you go. So you guys can probably find it a little cheaper in your local store.
Yep.
Local knife stop shop. So we were looking at another one, the Infidel.
The Infidel is still one of our, if not the most popular knife that we make. That's one of our best sellers, which, and one of our VP used to joke that if somebody were to pitch this knife to us now, a designer or one of our engineers, we would just tell them they were crazy.
Really?
It's our most expensive knife. It's illegal in most states. The coating on it tends to scratch. It's a little scary. It's, all these things. Yep, perfect. Let's make it. How much is it? Almost $500. Yes, do it. Let's do it.
That's a piece of kit that an assassin would have, just like with their silencer. That they would have the Infidel.
Now, for true single-handed use, it's a great option. Out the front knives are very good for that, because if you don't have the ability, let's say you've got something else in your hand, or you've got someone in your other hand, you can't use it. To retract that is just one hand. You don't have to have the other hand on it and fold it up like a manual or an automatic or spring assist. So,
yeah.
And there's a cool factor too. Yes, it's coming across. There you go. Let me play with that.
We have two sound effects here. You're like, don't get your nose. That's it going in and out.
Now, there's a couple of safety features built into that.
Very
it's got
positive.
a really strong trigger pull. It's not going to deploy in your pocket. If, like, for instance, I'm left-handed. I don't carry push-button autos, because when I do, that button's exposed. Now, all of our knives have safeties on them, but if that safety does not get employed and for some reason something bumped into that button, it could go off. That's why I don't carry it on my left side. I carry an axis lock. Axis lock, you really have to get that positive activation to make that blade go. Same thing with this. You really have to put a lot of pressure on that. I'm not sure what the pressure is. I could find out from our engineers.
Feels like
how many pounds of pressure.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
I would guess. Just guessing.
And then from there, once that blade is deployed, there's no spring pushing it or pulling it out. It's the inertia of the blade that carries it forward. So if it does hit something, it's going to stop. Now, if it hits soft tissue, it's going to penetrate a little bit, but it's not going to impale that person. You're going to get stung, but you're not going to get stabbed all the way through.
All right, so I am testing his theory.
Yep.
I've got my notebook here, and I've got it about yay close, and it does stop.
It stops. Now, to reset it, you just give it a flick. Use your big boy hands.
Like
there
that.
You go.
Use my big boy wrist. That is nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it again. Very cool. And then just
Yep.
Just flick it out, and then it'll reset, and you can put it back down.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yep.
That's a great feature.
And I was told recently by one of our guys that if you have one of these and you're storing it and you're not carrying it, When it's stored, do that. Stop the blade and take the tension off the spring. So it's like unloading your magazines. You want to take that tension off, that spring will last longer.
Okay.
There's a tendency for when lint does get in there from lots of use, and unfortunately, that slot where that blade goes is the perfect size for a dime to get stuck in there. Now, not a lot of people carry change anymore, but those that do, and we get them sent in when a dime comes in, and we will repair it, remove the dime, function check it, make sure the springs are all tight, and if they're not, we'll put new ones in there. We return the knife and the dime. Which leads me to our service. So, and we can talk about how cool these knives are, and they are.
They are. They're exceptionally cool.
And we back up every one of these cool products with our customer service. Lifetime warranty on all our products, our Life Sharp program. So if your knife goes dull, you can send it to us. We'll sharpen it for free and send it back to you for free. Not only that, we're probably going to take it apart, make sure all the small components aren't
worn out.
Everything's working good. If they are worn, we'll replace those components, the springs, washer, screws, put it back together, oil it, adjust it, put a factory edge back on it, and send it back to the customer at our cost. So if you have a Benchmade knife that needs a little maintenance, needs some work, or I run into people all the time, the spring broke, I don't know what to do with it, send it to us. We don't need the receipt. We don't need the original packaging. We don't care if you bought it at a pawn shop or one of our authorized dealers or online from us. It's a Benchmade product, and we will support it. We will service it for the life of that knife.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I wasn't aware. I don't think we ever talked about your warranty before.
We get lots of knives in every day for maintenance.
So like you were talking about on that spring, if it ever goes weak on that spring,
send it in, we
replace it.
Yep,
Boom.
send it back. Yes.
Very nice.
If you're sending in an automatic, if you're military or law enforcement personnel, go online and sign our automatic knife acknowledgement form. That way we can send an automatic knife to you across state lines. Otherwise, it's got to go through one of our authorized dealers. We will send it to that dealer, and you go pick it up there at your neighborhood, wherever that may be.
There you go. Yep. Nice. Now, what if one gets bent?
Now, abuse...
Negligence is different.
Now, I will say this. So if you break the tip off your knife, say an eighth of an inch, you chip that.
Yeah.
Our sharpeners can reprofile that blade. You'll never know it was broken. If you break off, say, an inch or break it in half, we'll swap that blade out, and a blade replacement is right around $35, $45, something like that.
Bad.
So you essentially get a brand new knife for
$35
for that cost,
or whatever it may be.
Yep, depending on the type of blade, the type of steel, if it's coated or not. Yeah, exactly. So,
very cool.
Yes.
You can't ask for any more than that. That's a hell of a warranty.
Yep.
I like that. Mm-hmm. So we've got more new knives here. You have the fixed blade Infidel.
Yep.
We were talking about earlier.
Yep. I'm very much like the out the front, similar in shape, similar beveling. It's a little wider blade. Same material on the handle. It's that anodized aluminum and D2 steel. Mm-hmm. And the sound is amazing, of course.
Now, when you're able to tell which knife it is by the then you're good. No, this is awesome. Okay, so continue talking about the fixed blade Infidel.
So we had a lot of requests for that. Guys that carry that, they like that, the Infidel, the style, but they can't carry an automatic, or they can't carry an out the front, and they'd like to have a fixed blade option. So
this one is beefier on the blade.
Yes,
it's got a beefier blade. Handle's about the same though. Feels good.
Yep, very close.
And what kind of handle do we have on this?
That's anodized aluminum.
Anodized aluminum.
Yep.
Okay.
And the price on that is $235 for the coated blade, or $235 and $250 for the black coated blade, black Cerakote. Those are retail prices.
Okay. And this comes with its own sheath as well.
It's got a sheath. It's got the sort of iconic Infidel logo on the clip, just like the clip on the does
clip.
on
that's nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Fun fact. When we ship these overseas to the Middle East, we will send generic clips.
Really?
That don't say Infidel.
They don't say that. Okay. Yeah. Well,
some people that like them, but don't want to carry around a quote-unquote Infidel.
Yes. Give that to Bill there. Did you get a little taste of that?
Oh yeah, no, I've held it before.
Okay.
And all right. Now I just have to go home and take the tension off my Infidel. It's been sitting in the vault for a couple of years, loaded.
Loaded.
So, yeah.
Might need a new spring.
Never told me this before when I
looked at the booze. Learned it myself, and it made perfect sense.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Which I could be better about storing magazines. I have a ton of them that are loaded up and
ready to go.
I should rotate those out and load up the empty ones and empty the loaded ones.
There you go. So then we're working our way down here. You were calling this your most stickiest knife?
Our stabbiest knife.
Most stabbiest knife? That's what it was.
20% more stabby than other models. This is the Fact. It is model number 417.
All right.
Similar sort of DNA to the Infidel and some of our original automatics. It is a manual, very thin, slim profile, slim blade, but thick enough.
It's like a stiletto.
It is. It's got that feel to it. Yes.
Yeah.
Very long, thin blade, and I'll give you some of the dimensions of this just
Okay.
so people can understand what we're talking about.
Uh-oh.
So the blade length is 3.95, so just shy of 4 inches.
Okay.
But the thickness is only 11 hundredths of an inch. It's a very thin blade. Overall, 8.72 inches.
It has a very sharp.
Yep. S30V
blade.
steel, skeletonized black anodized aluminum handle, spear point blade. It's just a cool looking knife. I think it's a really cool looking knife.
Yeah, it's called the spear point blade. That's
Yes.
the style.
Correct. Yes.
Now, do you have anything else with that type blade? Do you make it?
Somewhere out the front, so the Infidel has a similar style blade.
It's very
spear
similar.
point.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very similar to that.
Yep.
Just not double edged.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And now this one retails for.
Retail on that is $210 or $225 with a black coated blade.
Okay. Very nice. And this was the
Fact. 417.
The Fact.
Yes.
All right. So you guys make sure, and you got all these on your website now, right?
Absolutely.
That's
yes.
all it's, okay.
Everything's up there.
Yes. Make sure, like I said, go to their website as we're talking about these. Check them out. You definitely want to go to your local retailer and pick these up. These are sweet. So what's you got any secret things you can tell us about? What's
Got a
on
couple
the
little things
horizon?
that just came out. I'll show you. And for those that like to carry an old style traditional pocket knife, most of our knives, our folders, have a pocket clip on them. We wanted to make something that was a real throwback to an old style slip joint pocket knife. We came out with this. It's called the Proper, and there's a couple different models of it. It's got linen micarta handles. It's got a thumb notch on the blade, so there's no thumb stud. There's no lock on it. It's just
old school,
open and close, old school, and it goes in your pocket like a pocket knife.
It's a
It doesn't
pocket knife.
clip. Yeah, and
Nice.
it's just super cool. But it's got that S30V steel. It's got that premium steel, so it's going to
higher
last a lot
quality
longer
steel.
than your grandfather's old pocket knife that he carried forever. This is going to last generations just like that. This
That
is something
definitely
that you
will
give
be an
to your
heirloom.
grandkid. Yes,
It's an heirloom
absolutely.
piece.
It's just a cool little knife. Now, part of the motivation for building these was we have a lot of customers in Europe, in the UK in particular. In the UK, prior to a couple of months ago,
Right.
it was they had very strict knife laws. So we built this knife sort of around those laws to make it legal, so your average person could carry this knife in the UK.
Yeah.
And our dealers there our distributors are very excited about that. Our international team, their sales team was instrumental in helping develop this to kind of feed both channels. Then they came out with the news that London had a higher murder rate than New York City, and the mayor of London went a little nuts and just banned knives outright, all of them. And we're like, well, that's great, thanks guys. We just
That's really going to help.
Tried to throw you a
things.
little bone there, and you just cut our knees off. But anyway, it's still a really cool,
But
great
wait,
looking knife.
it wasn't with guns. It was with knives.
isn't that weird?
Because they already
Yeah.
banned guns.
Right. Yes.
So now,
They should- maybe
See
this
a-
is
see a
just-
pattern happening?
Make murder illegal. That'll do it. That'll take
maybe
care
just
of it.
murders against the law, and actually have a penalty.
Exactly.
People.
So a couple others I want to talk about. The Bug Out, which is now technically a Bug Out family. So we
So we
came
talked
out
about
with-
that last time.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we came out with this knife. We talked about it last time. It just come out. 1.85 ounces, super lightweight. It is a folding knife, axis lock. It's got some titanium hardware on it. It is just a cool knife. It's a great, solid pocket knife for everyday carry.
When I
but
see that, I think
super
that's
lightweight.
perfect for my fishing tackle.
Yep.
Good fishing knife.
So we started showing this knife around in the tactical channel, and all the cops and agents that we showed it to said, "Man, that is so cool!" And it's bright. It's Benchmade blue with a satin blade. It is made for that kind of commercial, the REI crowd, the paddleboarder, kayaker, minimalist hiker, backpacker type, which I love. Which
Yeah.
They need good knives too. Every copper that we showed it to said, "When's the black one coming out? I want it in black. I need the tactical version." So what we did
to stand out.
is we made a version with a gray DLC coated blade and a Ranger green handle. And it's just it's the same 535 DLC -1, I think, or yes. I'll look it up, but it's a 535.
For those who know what that means.
Right. Yes. Diamond-like coating is the
Diamond-like coating.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Very hard, very resilient coating on that. Will take all kinds of abuse. Cuts down the possibility of corrosion, even though SRV steel has a very good high corrosion resistance to it.
Right.
But I love this knife. It's so lightweight, but it's one I carry. So this is my workout knife. This is a knife I take when I go on a run, when I go on a ruck, when I go to the gym. And this is clipped inside my workout shorts, yes. And I don't even know what's there. That way I've always got something.
Now, what was the reasoning in changing the materials in the handle?
No change, just change of color.
Oh, okay. So it's just a color. Okay.
We tacticalized it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, that's it.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
So you can get the OD green, the Ranger
green
with
a
blue.
DLC coated blade with the gray coated blade, or the Benchmade blue with the satin blade.
Satin blade.
Yes.
Very nice.
The 535 bug out.
535 bug out.
And we are selling these like crazy, man.
Does REI carry those?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
talking about the
yes.
REI
yeah,
crowd?
the outdoor community as well as the tactical community.
They haven't banned those yet at REI?
No, REI is actually a very good customer of ours. Like I said.
Well, they jumped on the gun bandwagon there for a while. I don't know if they were still on it or not.
Yes. So they stopped selling products made by one of the larger companies that owns some gun and ammunition, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
now, that being said, their customer base, they still need good quality knives, good quality tools.
Absolutely.
You take whatever position you want to on the gun sales. I may not agree with it. I certainly don't. But that doesn't change the fact that their customers still need good tools and good, they may not need an AR-15 to go on a multi-day hike where they're cutting ounces.
Sure.
But they need a good knife, absolutely. And this is one that fits that bill. It's,
they can get one with the butterfly on it.
Yep, 1.85 ounces, and you're not going to have to worry about it. It's going to be reliable when you're out miles and miles from anywhere. You can't get it replaced. They may not even have a way to sharpen it with them because that takes up too much weight. So they need something that's going to stay sharp.
Stay sharp, yeah. That's the Benchmade Knives.
Yep.
There was another you were going to talk about too, I think, right?
This is...
Yes.
And I got into this a little bit last time we spoke about carrying a rescue hook.
Yes.
And I am a firm believer and an advocate for, if you carry a firearm, whether you are an armed professional or an enthusiast, or you just care about your own safety and that of your family and friends, you carry a gun for a particular reason, that is personal defense.
Mm-hmm.
You better carry a spare magazine, a way to reload that firearm should you go run it empty, or if you have a mechanical failure.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a video recently, Clint from Thunder Ranch, talking about getting out of a car and the base plate on his magazine popped off, hit the seatbelt or whatever, and out goes all that ammunition.
Like a Pez dispenser.
Had he not had a backup, he would have been
SOL.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when it really hit me. And I've always sort of advocated this, always carry a spare magazine. But just that visual image in my head of all those bullets just running out all over the street or wherever really was like,
in time of a crisis.
That kind of really hit home with me. I was like, okay, that's it. Anyway, that being said, spare magazine, flashlight, so you can see in the dark and low light situations, whether it's just finding your way out of a building or finding your keys that have fallen, or whatever the case may be.
Bullets that just fell.
Or even temporarily partially blinding a potential attacker, where you may be in a non-permissive environment when you can't carry a gun or you can't shoot if you are carrying a gun. A good, strong flashlight to the face may give you that time to get to hard cover or to get away from the situation or to get to a place where you can call 911. Carry a flashlight, and then carry some kind of medical response kit. Carry an IFAK. If you're carrying, carrying a gun is real cool. Stopping somebody from bleeding to death is even cooler, I think. Saving a life.
And more practical, because you're going to need that sooner The odds are you're going to need to save somebody's life from bleeding
some
to death.
Kind of a medical emergency.
Yeah,
other
car
than,
accident or something. Then you're going to need to shoot somebody.
Absolutely, definitely. Which should include a tourniquet, which should include some kind of clotting agent, something to stop that bleeding. It is not a first aid kit where you have ibuprofen and Tylenol and a bee sting kit. Having all those things in your car is great, but just walking around, it's not very practical. But there are so many options now of ways to carry these things. I carry one. It's made by Atlas Consulting Group in Oregon, and it's an ankle IFAC.
Sure.
It's a.
We were just talking about this the other day. There's several different brands and models that you can carry. Conceal. Doesn't take up a lot of space on your body, but you're carrying it on your person.
I like to promote them because they built one with Benchmade in mind. The one they built, and I have one I can show you, that has a little sleeve in there that will accommodate one of our 8 hooks. Our rescue hooks fit really nicely in there. So the point I'm making is you have to have the ability, in order to treat a wound, a bullet wound or any kind of wound, you need to get to it. And if it's a situation where it's an officer down, now imagine you're on duty, you're on patrol, and it's January, wherever you are. You've got a base layer, you've got an armor carrier of some kind, a uniform shirt, and probably a jacket over that.
Right.
That's a lot of material to get through. And if you don't know where that bullet hole went in and or came out, or bullet holes, you're going to have to go find it. And that's a lot of material to get through, and a couple of belts and boots and everything else. It's got to go.
Yeah.
Trauma shears are not nearly as effective as our hooks are. There was a study, we didn't have a study done. A study was done by Johns Hopkins Medical School. They did a head-to-head study with our hooks and trauma shears, and our hooks came out light years ahead.
Really?
Just so much more efficient and effective at undressing a patient, getting to those wounds. Now, I talk about bullet wounds, but everybody knows, or everybody should know by now, AEDs are pretty prevalent. Just like fire extinguishers, they're like furniture now. You're walking around a hotel like this. I probably walked by 3 or 4 fire extinguishers on the way up here.
Sure.
Not even thinking about it. But if there was a fire, I would know. I wouldn't have to run far to find one.
Sure.
Same thing with an AED. Have somebody get on the phone, call 911, find the AED. Okay, now what are we going to do? It's a guy in a suit and tie. All that stuff's got to come off. We got to get to that chest. We got to get those pads on and get that heart restarted. If we're going to do that,
hook is going to be
it's going to go right through all that material. Yes, absolutely.
Easiest way to do that.
No shots fired. No acts of aggression. It's just somebody in need of medical attention. And if you have some kind of medical training and you know how to use an AED, you have to get to that person's chest to get those pads on and get them.
Now talk about your hooks. Well, I mean, what sets them apart?
So this one in particular, all of our hooks have essentially the same blade geometry, super sharp. They go through seatbelt material clothing, leather boots, Danner boots. They're
don't stand up to them. Huh? They'll stand a chance.
they're located near us, and they're good enough to send us some of their seconds once in a while. So we'll just get a big box that gets delivered to Benchmade, and we'll take them on the road to different trade shows and stuff to demo, and it'll go right through a Danner boot. So leather belts, thick nylon duty belts. This will go.
But like anything, I'm sure there's technique, and it's something you want to practice.
Yes.
I mean, don't practice on your own shoes, but
no. But it's a very simple, procedure. Just get that hook in there and draw down, and it'll go. It's very easy to figure out, very intuitive,
and then it's safe for the person.
You're not going to do any damage to that person
that you're helping too. Yeah.
Another thing they're great for is guys that are working patrol, working in high crime, high drug activity areas. If you have somebody in custody and you suspect or you know that they have needles in their pocket,
cut that pocket open.
Just slice that pocket right down the seam, open the pocket up, take the needles out, avoid that needle stick. Replacing a pair of crappy old tweaker jeans is a lot easier to do than going through the protocol for a blood exposure.
That's the best quote ever.
I think so. You want it.
Yeah,
that's the name of the episode.
And I say that, we laugh about it, but I say that in all seriousness. Having been the victim of a blood exposure earlier in my career was not fun, and it is something that sticks with you for a very long time. No pun intended, because there are things the pathogens that will not manifest themselves for months or years later.
Yeah.
So that was a long day. I got stuck with a lot of needles that day at the ER.
Oh, damn.
Getting those gamma globulin shots and the Hep B protocols and all these things were going on, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell is going? What did I get myself into? My wife, I had to call her and tell her this is what happened. So now she's freaking out, like,
Yeah. What's this mean?
How
for
long
us?
till we can have sex is the real question.
How does this affect us? What it boils down to.
So anyway, open those pockets up. You're not going to do any damage to the person. You're not going to generate a use of force complaint by using one of our hooks on that material. It's not going to cut the person. You stick a knife blade in there, you run the risk of doing that. With this, you minimize that risk.
And you've got different size of hooks.
Different size of hooks. This one in particular, so this is the 179 GRY. SOC P Rescue. It's part of the SOC P family. SOC P stands for Special Operations Combatives Program. Okay. A guy named Greg Thompson developed this program, helped us. He worked with our engineers to develop these knives and tools and trainers. It comes with a sheath that locks into the MOLLE on your external vest carrier very nicely. Dip-coated clip to minimize that sheath coming out if you do have to deploy it. And the original is designed as a backup if you can't get to your gun. And I tell people, if you're going to this, you're probably in a ground fight. And if you haven't trained for ground fighting in your particular police agency, you are being remiss. You need to talk to your DT instructor, your sergeant, your lieutenant, whoever, and tell them we need to get somebody in here to train us how to do this stuff, because those skills are vital. Having said that, you can't always get to your gun. If you're in a fight with some guy that has some MMA training, maybe he was a high school wrestler, perhaps he's been
outweighs you by
been in the institution and knows, because he's been trained by the other residents of that institution. You grab a cop around the waist, that's where all their tools are. You get 200 pounds of dirt bag across that duty belt at a full mount.
I can't get to anything.
And that officer is potentially disarmed.
Yeah.
So you have to carry something up high above the belt. And I remember my DT instructors teaching me this, and it was an eye-opener for me. This is years and years ago. Carry something up in your vest somewhere where you can get to it. So if somebody's on top of you, you can reach that and deliver those strikes.
Right. And this was designed for that.
While you are protecting yourself. So I'm sort of pantomiming. I've got my hands and arms up near my face and vital areas, but I can reach down. And to deploy this is just get an index finger in that ring, and it jumps into your hand. From there, it's a matter of just finding that target of opportunity. You're not going to subdue anyone with this knife necessarily. This is
going to get them backed off away from you.
This is a get the F off me knife is what we call it. So, and I have some clients in the Secret Service, they call it jiu-jitsu repellent. So, what you're doing is you're getting yourself some time and potentially some distance, and from there, stand by.
Yeah. He's going to his bag of tricks.
Just a training gun, blue gun here.
Blue gun. Okay.
From there, you can absolutely easily draw and reassess the situation. Once you can get to your firearm, you don't have to ground this knife where the threat could get to it, or worry about resheathing it, doing damage to your armor, doing damage to yourself. Keep it in your hand, get to your gun, and reassess the situation. Now, from there, and I always tell people this, if you're going to get the knife, get the trainer. Take the trainer to DTs, the defensive tactics training. Practice with it. Practice fighting to exhaustion and then deploying it. Practice in low light and then deploying it.
What is this one called?
This is the SOC P trainer. This is essential if you're going to be carrying that SOC P on duty or even as an everyday carry. Take it to DTs. Fight in low light, fight to exhaustion, then deploy it, and then practice getting to your gun and drawing, and then take it to the range. Practice that draw stroke, just coming out of the holster with it, standing up on the range just like you normally would any course of fire, but do it with your SOC P in your hand. Then go to those unconventional shooting platforms. Get on your side, get on your back, practice deploying it. Now, this is critical. If you are running a SOC P and you get in that type of a fight and you draw your weapon and reassess, and a deadly threat is still presenting itself, and your gun is somehow malfunctioned during the course of that fight, there's going to be a little voice inside your head. It sounds just like your first range master telling you to fix it.
Yeah.
Do that tap rack and get that thing back in operation. Well, if you tap rack while you have that SOC P in your gun hand, you're going to take yourself right back out of the fight. So I always say take it to the range and train with it. You can definitely do it. You can definitely get that rack without hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You just have to be a little more deliberate in your actions. You got to do a little training with it, just like any other tool you carry. So from there, we developed the 179 rescue hook. And what this is, it's the same general shape and size, fits in the same sheath as the dagger, but instead of a sharp dagger blade, it's got one of our rescue hooks. It's got a carbide tip glass breaker on the front, very effective at car windows. And one of the nice things about this is if there's any tint, any film tint on that window, if you and those that have tried to break a window with a collapsible baton, it's like hitting a snare drum, and you're going to be there all day doing that until the window finally decides to break. This is going to go right through it. Now, if there's a tint film on that, it's not going to fall. You can do a quick little break and rake with that hook, get a hole started, cut the rest of it away, and get in there and go. You can even get in there and cut that seatbelt if somebody's being combative. Now, that being said, if that escalates and you've got to go to a lethal option and you have to draw your weapon, you can do that while this is in your hand and reassess.
Just again, like the dagger.
Just like the dagger. Now, let's say bad guy decides he wants to be compliant. It's time to go hands-on. Holster up. You still can have this in your hand because you're not going to do any damage to that person. If you do go hands-on, you can get them out and get them taken care of. Even get them cuffed up while this is in your hand. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's not going to hurt them. Again, needlessly generating a use of force complaint from the bad guy.
And then we're talking about the hook now, not the dagger.
This is
you don't want to do that with the dagger.
You do not want to do that with the dagger because you absolutely have the potential to do damage to that person when you're not intending to. So that can get
or maybe you do intend
resheathed, or somebody else who's there. You know, if you've gone to this, if you've gone to the dagger, you're probably already at deadly threat. You're probably, your use of force has already been elevated to the point where it's time to do something different than just breaking glass.
Do you sell these as a set, or are they each individual?
So we sell them individually. We also sell them as a combo with the trainer. So the dagger comes, you can get the combo with the dagger and trainer, or with the rescue hook and the trainer, or separately. And the trainer you can also buy separately.
Dude, so you need to do a 3-pack, man.
We talked about that.
Let's do a 3-pack.
Yeah, there is a potential for that.
Christmas.
I do tell people if they're buying for a team or a unit or a SWAT team, not everybody needs a trainer. If everybody's getting the dagger, get 3 or 4 of these, get 5, whatever. But everybody doesn't have to have one because you can trade those out when you're in training.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have. It's really nice to be able to take that to the range and practice with this, and be as proficient with this as you are with your firearm. Spend as much time with this as you would with your firearm. Training. Yes, absolutely.
If you're going to carry it, train with it.
Definitely. Yes.
So if that's a tool you choose to use, you definitely got to get trained with it.
And like I said,
it takes some dexterity to do the maneuvers with that. Yeah.
If you're on duty, you're working law enforcement, military, whatever the case may be, or if you are just an enthusiast or someone who's interested in protecting themselves, get some of these other tools to carry. Make it part of your everyday carry kit. Have a first aid.
And if somebody wants to hire you to come train them, how do they get in touch with you?
I would put them in. We do have people that we work with. Greg Thompson's one. He has a group of people that he works with that train this combatives program. There's a whole training program that goes with it. That's not just the dagger. There are other things that go along with it. And he's got some new stuff coming out too. I can't talk a lot about it, but I do know Greg, Benchmade and Greg Thompson. We've got some new Greg Thompson products coming out.
Okay,
so be on the lookout for that. Probably for SHOT Show 2019, which I believe we are now halfway there. We're halfway to SHOT Show.
Yeah, a little more than half. Yeah, we're past the halfway mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one always comes around so fast.
Yeah. It's coming.
Every year.
It's coming. Is there anything else?
What else?
I mean, man, this is a lot. I was not expecting all this.
I don't know how long your show is, but we could do a whole bunch. We can go through everyone.
We go through everyone.
I think
that's. I mean, that you've pretty much highlighted all your new stuff.
Yeah, we got some new stuff, some of the old stuff. I mean,
stuff coming down the pike.
Our hooks have been around for a long time, and I still promote them. Our rescue hooks are the least expensive product that we make, and probably the one that I promote the most.
Yeah.
Because it is so critical for everyone to have. If you're carrying a knife, you're carrying a gun, it just has so many valuable uses, even if it's just opening boxes, whatever. I mean, and I run into guys all the time. Yeah, I've cut open 1,000 MREs with my Benchmade. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? God bless you.
Do you have any questions for our guest, Bill?
No.
I mean, you've been a great co-host. You hadn't said a word.
No, because I've worked the booth with Brian at so many different trade shows, and I completely agree with the rescue hook. You got to have it. We actually bought my FLEOA chapter for our golf outing. We bought 7, almost 80 of those.
Yeah.
Because you definitely need them at a golf outing with these guys.
They make great ball markers.
You
on
never
the green.
know who's going to flip their card over.
No, actually, nobody did that. But no, it was all law enforcement. Everybody needs a hook, and that's what we called Brian, and we worked it out and got it engraved with the FLEOA logo. Nice. And
a little party favor.
Yeah.
And part of the swag actually, Bill brings up a good point. We do a lot of work with the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association with FLEOA, and one of the reasons we do that is my job And my counterpart that works state and local, our job is to get these tools in the hands of the right people, the people that really need them, that use them, that work every day.
Let them know that they're available.
Yeah, it's interesting. We go to some parts of the country. Generally speaking, if there's anybody who's been deployed overseas, anybody who's got some military experience, and we show up in an agency and they see there's like, oh, Benchmade, and then there's always going to be one or two guys that says, what's a Benchmade? Those are the customers that we are there to educate. And I still get asked, well, why do you carry a knife? It seems weird to hear that question still.
There's so many uses for a knife. Yeah.
And my answer is, how can you not?
It's infinity.
We make knives that will, I'm holding up the propper. That's legal just about everywhere. It's a short blade. It doesn't lock. It doesn't open with gravity. There's no thumb stud. Carry it. If the laws are restrictive in your area, go online and buy it. Find a dealer and buy it. Get it, carry it. That way you've always got something, whether it's something as simple as, you're more likely to come across, like you said, a vehicle crash where there are people that need to be extricated, or they're not conscious and they need to be cut away.
Let's name all the things like in Forrest Gump. This is everything you can do with shrimp. There's everything you can do with a knife. You can defend yourself.
Yes.
You can open up boxes.
Yes.
You can save somebody's life.
Yep.
Whether you need to cut a belt, you need to cut their clothes off, you need to get into a wound or something like that.
Yep.
You can make spears. You can sharpen things. Or you're out.
Yep, for sure.
Stickers.
Yes.
If you're roasting marshmallows, that comes in. So sharpen sticks. Yep. You can sharpen things with it. What else? Come on.
Dispatching the enemies of our country.
There you go.
One of my favorite uses.
Bill, what can you do with a knife?
Now you're throwing.
You can open up letters.
Yes, boxes, packaging, the hard plastic shelf packaging.
So I'll tell you a quick funny story. Benchmade has a Christmas party every year for the entire company.
Skin a deer?
We have almost 400 employees, and we're hiring, by the way. If anybody out there has some machining skills, or we have entry-level positions, and you feel like moving to the Northwest, you already live there.
You need a podcaster?
Look us up, man.
You guys hiring podcasters?
We contract out for that. So we had a company party. This is a couple years ago, our Christmas party at this golf club in Portland, Oregon, just outside. We're in Oregon City. And a couple of hundred employees and spouses and significant others, they're all there. We're seated. They're bringing out dinner, and you had a choice of either chicken or steak. And, of course, there's a vegan. We live in Oregon. Of course, there's a vegan option.
Yeah.
But there was no steak knives. And it was funny. So dinner gets served, and almost simultaneously, 200 people pull out their Benchmade and start cutting their steak. And it was like, somebody said there's no steak knives.
Steak knives. So there's another use.
And so everybody's using their Benchmade to cut their steak or their chicken that night. It was really funny. And everybody's looking around kind of giggling like, of course we all have our own knives. We got this covered.
Right.
Yeah.
I was using mine to cut a lime for gin and tonics last week.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to game time, guys. We don't want to miss the game.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up here. Brian, again, thank you so much. Always bringing more than we anticipated to the show, so thank you.
I got one last thing I want to show you.
No, wait, hold up.
So
but wait,
there's more. This just came out.
This is awesome.
What is this?
So this is what we're calling the Micro Pocket Rocket.
The Micro Pocket Rocket.
It is a small, everyday carry, titanium-framed flipper. And it is literally, when it's closed up, you can hide it in the palm of your hand. But it's a nice, stout little blade.
We gotta can I take a picture of that?
Just came out.
Hold
recently.
that in your hand.
The MPR, the Micro Pocket Rocket.
The Micro Pocket Rocket.
Yep.
Boom, and it comes with its own little sheath.
It comes
bag, its own little bag. You pulled it out of a little bag.
I had this in. All of our knives come with a little microfiber bag.
Microfiber bag.
Retail price $400.
$400.
Oh my!
It's all titanium. And the steel on that, I believe, it's not in the catalog. I'll tell you what kind of steel we got.
Damn it!
20 CV steel. So this is another real high premium steel.
It's going to last forever.
Yeah,
that will last forever. Indestructible.
So, damn, that's nice.
Yep. Even the clip on that is titanium, I believe.
Very cool.
Mikey,
Micro Rocket Pocket.
No, he might have assisted, but we used I think the designer's name is on the back.
How thick is that blade?
I don't know because it's not in the catalog, so I don't have the specs. I just got that sample recently.
I mean, you could go through this table with that thing.
Yeah, it's a stout little blade for sure.
That's awesome. So what was the purpose in mind when you designed that?
working with a designer whose specialty is, I'm sorry, but I forget that person's name. I know we've looked at several of their products, but it is really kind of in that person's wheelhouse as far as those types of designs. In fact, I'm sorry. Does it say Seibert on the back? Is that Shane Seibert?
Yes.
Shane Seibert is so Shane Seibert is known for building like really stout, over-engineered folders and fixed blades. Right. That's really, and so this is a kind of a new thing for him, I think, where the size, the overall size is very small, but man, it's a big chunk of steel and a big chunk of titanium.
It is.
Yeah.
This weighs more than the Infidel.
Yeah, yeah, it's thick,
and it's like a third of the size.
So the last thing I'll talk about before we go for our your listeners that enjoy a fine premium cigar, which I'm sure they're out there.
We have them, yes.
Yeah, and I am one of them. I'm certainly a Talking Lead fan, and I do enjoy sitting out on my back patio or going to my local club and having a cigar. Been smoking cigars for years. Benchmade came out with a cigar cutter just recently.
Look at there.
I got to attend the International Cigar Show last week in Las Vegas, where we launched this product. You'll notice it is suspiciously absent from the table.
It is.
They decided that they didn't need to hand one out to everybody because the price tag on that is $1,000. It is such a cool piece. It is a gold class. In our gold class, we have our blue class, black class, hunt, and then gold class. And it's premium steel, marbled carbon fiber handles. It's got Mokutai titanium.
Wow, this thing's really done
back spacers. It's got blue titanium hardware, and it's got two little blue sapphires on the axis bar on each side. It is so cool.
Fancy.
And $1,000 a piece.
Is that on the website?
I believe it is. We launched it last week. So
I'm going to have to go look at that. Yeah, he didn't bring it, so I don't have that to look at.
They don't like to just hand those out to us sales guys.
See, they don't trust you with that one? You of all people should have one of those,
Now,
and what is it called? Just the cigar cutter?
Cigar cutter. And I forget what the model number is, but I think if you just go to the website and punch in cigar cutter, it should be up there now. I know we have a new product announcement that went out, and it is super cool. There was a lot of buzz at that cigar show.
I know we got a lot of cigar aficionados out there.
Yeah.
So great now, Christmas present.
That being said, I always carry a cigar cutter, a Benchmade cigar cutter. It is my everyday carry, and that's what I use to cut my cigars. I do a little V-cut on them. So if you carry a Benchmade, you already have a cigar cutter in your pocket.
Yeah. Any of these knives would work for that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Very good. Definitely. Again, Brian, thank you so much.
Hey, man, I
awesome
appreciate
stuff.
it.
Check them out, benchmade.com.
Yep, benchmade.com. We have the full complement of products up there online.
Instagram, Facebook.
Yep. Check out the Benchmade LE division, too, if you're doing social media. So we have a little kind of a separate social media. It's much smaller, where we can do some different things. We don't like to offend the REI crowd. When we talk about dispatching our country's enemies, some people get a little squeamish on that kind of stuff. Yeah. On the LE side, we can talk about some of the more cool tactical stuff, and we just do things a little bit differently. So it's one of the things we've just been trying to get off the ground. So Benchmade LE division on Facebook and Instagram. Go check it out. Give us a like. Send us a message.
There you go.
We'll take care of you.
There you go. All right, Leadheads, that brings us to the end of another episode of the Talking Lead podcast here in Boston. Special episode. And as always, Leadheads, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer.
And your Benchmade in your hand.
Pass.
And your FLEOA membership active.
Yay!
You want to say something about Buddhism?
No.
You keep your little Buddha doll close?
Keep your rose quartz.
Get in the microphone.
Keep your rose quartz.
Boom. There you go. We're out of here. We got a ball game to go to.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So that was some great interviews there, some great testimony about Chris Schoppmeyer, and, of course, always Brian Montgomery hitting us with some valuable information. So you guys make sure you go check out BenchmadeKnives.com. And as we were wrapping up there, we were getting ready to go to the Red Sox games. They were playing Minnesota, and I think it was the first game in a couple of double headers they were doing. They played all weekend, but so we were headed out to the game where they were doing a dedication, a pregame dedication to Chris. If you guys talk about the on-field experience there, what they were doing.
That'd be you, Bill.
Well, you were the one on field, buddy.
You were on the field too.
I was down the field, but you were honored in the ceremony. It was a pregame ceremony honoring Chris Schoppmeyer and as part of the Red Sox New Hampshire Day celebration, as he is a New Hampshire resident. They wanted to dedicate part of the ceremony to him, especially as being part of FLEOA and as a 35-year veteran of wildlife conservation, environmental conservation, law enforcement as part of their ceremony. So I was greatly honored to have you out there representing Talking Lead on the field as part of the dedication to Chris, who was just probably one of the greatest men I've ever had the honor of knowing. And I'm sure Goody can say the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I said, I wish all the stories that I heard about him, I wish I had the opportunity to meet the guy. I did get the opportunity to meet his family. Great family. His wife, Terry, his kids, Travis, and Aaron were just very welcoming and cordial through the whole thing. So they were awesome. The field experience for me, I mean, I've been on baseball fields before, but nothing like this. And to be at Fenway, I mean, just the history of Fenway itself, but then you add the honor of celebrating the life and contributions that Chris made was just, I mean, there were no words for that, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity to do that. So thank you, thanks to FLEOA, and I also got to meet the new commissioner of Boston, the new police commissioner. Yeah, so talk about him, Goody.
Will Gross. He was the chief of police for Boston, has newly been promoted to the commissioner, and we got to see him in his final day of uniform. There's two people that I can't say enough nice things about. Chris is one of them, and Will is another. Anytime we're in the area, he always rolls out the red carpet. If it's been 5 minutes or 5 years since he's seen you, he still has the biggest smile and the biggest hug for you. He is just one of the greatest guys in law enforcement, and I wish him all the luck in the world in his new role. I hope he brings some of that sunshine to the upper levels of Boston because they need it.
Yeah, I mean, I just the brief time that I got to sit and talk with the guy, it just seems like he is a people person. You know, he's a commissioner
Absolutely.
for the people. He reminds me a lot of that Sergeant Al Powell from Die Hard. You remember him?
Yeah, I can see that one.
that's the whole kind of image that I was getting from him the whole time. Just a really, happy-go-lucky. Seemed like he's a real strong family guy kind of deal, but would do anything for his community. So
Absolutely.
I think I'm very interested in seeing how his what do they call it, a term? I don't know, when you're a commissioner.
Yeah, we call it that.
The term.
His appointment.
Yeah, how his appointment plays out. So I hope he's treated well there. You know, politics can be cruel to people like him, especially.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you.
So Boston, get behind him. Take care of your new commish. So we got to then watch the game. We had great seats. We're sitting with right field.
Yep.
Out in right field. Great seats. It was an exciting game. Came down to the very last pitch of the game.
Nail biter.
It was a nail biter. The Red Sox were batting. Minnesota's pitching. I can't remember the pitcher. But he walked like 3 batters in a row.
Bases were loaded.
Bases loaded. You got this guy coming out. I can't remember who was hitting, but got a full count on him. It's coming down to the very last pitch of the game, and he whiffs.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't win that game, but they won the next however many they played all
3
weekend. Yeah, and they won them pretty handily. So congratulations to the Boston Reds. They're on top of the league, right? Aren't they leading the league in wins right now? They're on top of it in first place.
Yes.
Isn't that what Carl said? Anyway,
Yes.
Go back to the previous segment where Carl was talking, and he was saying they were on top. So, yeah, that was awesome. We got to do that, did the game. And then the next day, we drove up to New Hampshire. After we did a little tour of Boston, We did for my benefit, and I thank you guys for doing that. there were a couple places I wanted to go see. We didn't have a lot of time, but we had enough time to go check out Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Except they didn't, Marty. They didn't know your name.
They didn't know my name, but it was everything that you would expect and more. They had the set where I guess they filmed some of the episodes there, the bar recreation. They had a couple of other spots there that you saw on the TV show. All kinds of memorabilia at the butt. The food was really good. I had a steak sandwich, steak and cheese. With bacon. Yeah, of course. You always add bacon.
Shocking.
It was phenomenal. A Bloody Mary. I enjoyed the Bloody Mary. Nate wasn't too impressed. Nate's a little bit of a snob when it comes to drinks, I think. A drink snob. I was like, fuck you, Nate. I'm enjoying this Bloody Mary. Don't ruin it. I'm at Cheers.
And the brother and sister of horseradish. That would be you and me.
You're right. Loaded it up with some horseradish. Add a little extra oomph to it. Mm-hmm. So we loaded up our bellies, and then we went on another tour down to, we were trying to find this restaurant. It was called Tia's. Of course, you guys know my wife's name is Tia. And, of course, I call her Pepper. You guys know her as Pepper. But she absolutely insisted that I go and get some kind of memorabilia, pictures or whatever of Tia's. But unfortunately, they didn't have any shirts or hats or any memorabilia. So I talked one of the waitresses into giving me a menu. So I brought her home a menu. You're welcome, babe. And she got a wine glass. She got a wine glass from Cheers, so that was cool. She wanted a wine glass from Cheers. But I highly suspect that she will be going to Boston pretty soon anyway. So that's one of her bucket list destinations. And then we got to see some cool historical stuff. Just, our country's history is right there. That's where a lot of it started.
Yes. The only city that I would
chime in
say that would have even more historical value that I personally love is Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I bet their Philly cheesesteaks are better than Boston's.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was kind of hard to beat. But the lobster rolls, I didn't get a lobster roll, but we did do lobster one night. Thank God. Got a full live Maine lobster. It was really good. Enjoyed that. But then on our way to New Hampshire, we're headed to New Hampshire because we were going to do the park dedication. There was a park there it's not Portsmouth. It was Portsmouth.
Newmarket.
Portsmouth.
Newmarket.
That's what it's called. Newmarket, which that's where Chris resided, right? Chris and his family.
Correct.
I think they grew up there. He raised their family there. So that's
Correct.
where he did a lot of community work. And like I said, he was a environmentalist and very well respected and known there.
Every year, stock the ponds for kids to do fishing derbies every single year.
Yeah. So there was a little church there that had about, I don't know, they said, 3 to 5 acres, something like that they had dedicated in Chris's honor, and they're going to turn it into a wildlife preserve and a kayaking launch. I think they're going to build a boat dock and all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's right off the Lamprey River.
There you go, Lamprey River. So that was an event itself. There was a little drama. We had some drama about halfway through it. So to set it up, it was probably 90 something degrees and at least 90% humidity. They were pretty hot, but we had this nice tent that we were all sitting under. And I'd say there was probably 100 people there. I don't know.
Oh, easily.
At least, yeah. And of course, everybody was trying to get into the shade, so underneath that little tent, it started to get a little hotter. There was a gentleman sitting just immediately in front and to the right of us, the table that we were sitting at, and I think they said he was 94 years old, somewhere around there.
Yes.
He was sitting with his daughter, and I look up, and his daughter is saying, "Dad, wake up! Dad, wake up!"
Dad.
So I immediately run over there and see what the fuss is about, and he's like having convulsions, and I guess he's having a seizure. I don't know what it was, but we had to stop the ceremony for that. Thank God he was okay. We got the paramedics there, and they were able to get him revived and take him on in, get him a checkup. But
luckily, with 2 nurses and a ton of first responders, we had it under control.
Right, exactly. So he was, if there was any place he was going to have one of those, that was probably the best. But bless his heart, I think he's okay. I hadn't heard any updates or anything, but
nor have I.
Yeah, I'm sure he's okay. But the dedication was awesome. It went off without a hitch, and then of course after everybody adjourned and then reconvened at his favorite watering hole, at Chris's favorite watering hole, which was
Riverworks.
Called Riverworks, and it was a cool little bar. Had a few drinks, had a lot of appetizers, great appetizers. Enjoyed that, and then that was our trip, pretty much. Am I missing anything?
No.
No, the park dedication was absolutely amazing. Just because the city of Newmarket, New Hampshire, purposely sought out taking into consideration Chris's lifelong dedication to the city itself, his passion for wildlife and environmental conservation, actively sought out to find some way to honor him as a brother of Newmarket, a son of, and for a long time, actively sought to find a piece of property to dedicate to him as a park that other families could enjoy. Just the fact that a city would do that for a resident is just absolutely amazing. And as Terry was talking about during her speech at the dedication, when the grandkids, Jacoby and Violet, asked if every ranger gets a park like this, and Terry going, no, this is special. It just speaks to the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing individual.
Yeah, it was. And again, thanks to FLEOA for bringing me in to share that. Again, it was very humbling, and just to know that somebody like him exists. And I was telling you, I think I told Terry this too. I said, everything you guys were talking about him, I mean, it could have been my dad. It just reminded me a lot of my dad, kind of guy my dad was, the character that my dad had. So it made me feel that much closer to him, even though I didn't know him.
Yeah, it's a bummer you never got to meet him. Thankfully, Montgomery got to meet him a couple times, and all of us were extremely close with him. But yeah, dude, you'd have gotten along with him.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, it sounds like he made an impression on just about everybody that he met, knew, worked with, had an association with. So
Chris used to come down to Connecticut every fall for deer hunting, and we would meet up at the same restaurant every year. He had his whole thing, and anytime he introduced me to a stranger, he would introduce me. He said, "This is Goody. She almost died once." It's true. I flipped my cruiser and almost died, but that's how he likes to introduce me, as the trooper that almost died.
That's a story for another show, which we definitely want to have you back on. We'll talk about that if you're so inclined.
I am so inclined.
But yeah, so that was the trip to Boston, and it was amazing. So make sure that if you guys get an opportunity to go to the Boston area, go to Newmarket.
You
go to Newmarket, New Hampshire, and the park there. Do we know the name of it?
The Schoppmeyer Memorial.
Yeah, you can ask anybody there, and they'll direct you to where it's at. I guarantee you. That whole community knows about it. But
it's North Main Street. What was the number? Like 10 North Main Street?
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'll see what we're talking about there. All right, guys. So let's get into some giveaways now.
Ooh.
So last week we gave away 2 watches to 2 vets for our 10 watches for 10 vets. Let's knock out another 2 this episode. And the first one is going to go to... Drum roll, please. So I'm going to read the email, and then I'll read the recipient. So it says, Lefty, I'm a recent listener, 6 months of the show, and I have to say I love the show and what you're doing for the 2A community. You have some great support from some awesome companies. I was listening to episode 252 and heard about the giveaway for Defi Watches to veterans. I myself am not a veteran, but this email is coming to you on behalf of my brother, and it's Nauman B. I'm not going to read his last name. He's a 10-year Navy veteran. He enlisted when he was 18, right out of high school. 3 years ago, we were in a horrific car accident, and because of that, he was medically discharged. That was a very difficult time for him. Both of his legs were crushed, and the bones in his ankles and knees were shattered. The doctor said it would be at least a year before he could get out of a wheelchair. Well, 3 plates, 11 screws, and 9 surgeries later, he was walking on his own in 6 months. It's fantastic. Hells yeah.
Awesome.
And as I'm sure you know, our military boys don't do so well when it comes to listening to doctors about what they can and can't do. Even though he's no longer in the military, I would love for him to get a little reminder that our country appreciates everything that our servicemen and women do for our rights and freedom. Keep up the good fight, and thanks again for everything that you do with your podcast. You have a lifelong listener here in the communist state of Massachusetts.
Ouch.
So, Jonathan B., your brother is the recipient of one of our Defi Watches. So, thank you for that submission. And just get in touch with me with your contact info, talkinglead@gmail.com, and we'll make sure that your brother gets that watch. So, there's one. Our second watch. Drum roll, please. Is going to this recipient. And I don't know what it is about the Navy, but it seems like all our recipients are in the Navy. So I have been listening since the 2nd or 3rd episode. I'm a Navy veteran and have worked in corrections for 26 years.
Oy.
That alone just qualifies him right there. 26 years in corrections. I do already have a Battlefield watch, and it's great. Keep cranking out the great interviews. Thanks, Jeff Haddix. Oh, Jeff H. Thanks, Jeff H. So, Jeff H., even though you have a Battlefield, you need a Scout to go with your Battlefield. So, I'm going to make sure that Jeremy hooks you up with the Scout. And if, you don't wear 2 watches, you like your Battlefield good enough, maybe you got a corrections buddy that maybe you want to give that watch to or someone else. It's your watch. You can do with it what you want to, brother. So thank you for all the support and the long-time listenership. Jeff H. Contact me, talkinglead@gmail.com.
Marty.
Yes.
How about we sweeten the pot? How about FLEOA throws in 2 battlefields to vets or first responders?
So you're throwing in 2 more watches for our
2 more watches, brother.
10 watches. So it's 12 watches for 12
12
vets.
watches now.
Very good. I'm down with that.
All right. You just put it out there and give me the information where they go to. I will send it out to them.
There you go. So 2 battlefields. So there you go, Leadheads. I need more nominations for this. Send me your nominations. The watches are growing, apparently. As we give them away, we get more in stock. So
actually, awesome. Let's just do 4.
What? Oh!
The alarm's going off. The alarm's going off.
Boop, boop, boop. 14 watches for 14 vets. That's awesome.
Or first responders.
First responders. They could be LE. They could be military, law enforcement.
And don't forget the paramedics, because God knows they help me.
There you go. Absolutely. So get the nominations in, guys. We're going to keep giving away until we've given them all away. And if people like FLEOA and people like Defi keep upping the ante, we'll just keep upping the gifts. Very cool. All right.
Least I can do.
On that same note, we had a listener that won a swag package from us a couple episodes ago, Nick M. And Nick wrote in to me, and after hearing about the last episode, the shooting in Nevada, the church shooting in Nevada where the firefighter was killed, it was, how do I say this? It was J-Mac's neighbor. J-Mac's neighbor is a police officer, but it was his neighbor's cousin was the guy who was murdered in that church shooting. And he won. We dedicated a watch to him, so he's one of the veterans we dedicate to his family that got the watch last episode. Nick also wants me to donate his swag package. So kudos to Nick. We're going to make sure that swag package gets to that family and we will make sure that they know that it is from you, Nick. So thank you for doing that. And
thank you, Nick.
All right, so man, that's a lot of giveaways. That's a lot of things to that I wasn't expecting again. Awesome, Bill.
My pleasure, dude.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
So this week, I can't access iTunes. My iTunes is down. I did an update on my computer, and it's not letting me into iTunes, so I can't go and see the feedback. So we'll do another swag pack giveaway next episode. Sorry about that, guys. So stay tuned for next episode, next swag pack. So that brings us to the end of another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. Make sure that you guys are engaging with us on social media. As you can see, the last few episodes, we are giving all kinds of stuff away. We're giving away rifles, we're giving away watches, we're giving away swag packages. You never know what else is going to come up that we're going to be giving away. But you have to be listening to the show. You have to be subscribed to us. You have to be engaging with us on social media, commenting on our posts, sharing our posts, getting involved. And you guys have been phenomenal with that, and I greatly appreciate it. And we're going to reward you for that. So continue doing that. TalkingLead@gmail.com if you want to email me. Facebook, Instagram, our other great places. Make sure you're commenting on our posts there. And support our sponsors. You guys have been amazing doing that as well. X-Steel Targets, Right On Optics, Modern Spartan Systems, Defi Watches, 1776 United, and our nonprofits that we get behind like FLEOA, Sheepdog Impact Assistance. Do it all. You guys are amazing. FLEOA, Bill, tell them how they can reach out to you guys, get involved with FLEOA.
There's the FLEOA proper, which is www.fleoa.org. Or there's the foundation, the philanthropic side to support federal law enforcement officers in times of need, which is the FLEOAfoundation.org.
Yeah, so make sure you guys go and support FLEOA, get involved. And then, of course, like I said, Sheepdog Impact Assistance, it's sheepdogia.org. And, of course, Mission 22, great organization there. I should be getting Magnus Johnson on soon to talk about his book. I've got to reach out to him and get that scheduled, but that'd be a great interview coming up with Magnus. All right, guys. Any parting words for the Leadheads?
Thanks for all your support. Keep Brother Chris in your memory. Great man. And thanks for listening to this episode.
Agreed.
So until next episode, Leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close.
Your firearms closer.
And your FLEOA membership active.
Like you rehearsed it or something.
Right.
All right, Leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close.
Your FLEOA membership active.
Did you forget this already? Did you forget this already? No, so you say and keep your firearms closer, and then you throw your tagline in there. Bill.
What?
Bill fucked it up.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I did.
So, all right, I'm going to start over.
So I'm going to
start over.
His stuff.
So I'm going to start
How's
over.
that?
So.